Good now, everybody, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. We're live today from beautiful Midland, Michigan, and this is your place for helpful news, commentary, and, of course, answers to your crypto questions. Let me know how you are, how you're doing, where you're tuning in from, and we'll just enjoy the beautiful morning. Let me know if the bird song is too loud. Had to throw the headphones on because, they're talking this morning. So if it's too loud, I'm sorry. I've got Tennessee represented in my coffee cup hanging out at Grammy and Gramps' house. And I have battled some technical difficulties to be here with you. I think Alex is doing the same, but I told him, don't fret, I'll go ahead and get the stream started. He's been holding down the fort, so it's my turn. Welcome, Camilla, or is it Camilla? Or let me know if it's something else. Good to see you here. Chinda, Matt, thanks for joining. We'll get the show started. It's been an interesting week in crypto. I haven't made a ton of time to be on the market, so to speak. I've mostly been playing catch up with other people, so thank you for everybody who's helped me stay connected. But it looks like sentiment is pretty low, so let me know how you doing. Are you making it out there? Are you feeling nervous? Is it time to do a gut check? Because we can do it. Happy to help, and I would love to know, especially for people, whether you're here now or you're watching on YouTube later, I would love to know, is this your first crypto cycle? Is it your second crypto cycle? How long have you been here? And what kind of things are you doing in the crypto space? Are you an investor? Are you a builder? Are you holding tokens? How many? Which ones? What do you have conviction in? Leave me a little something. Let me get to know who you are and what you're doing. Red Sea, low sentiment. Fear and greed index dropping. I'm buying soon. Aaron, brother, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I don't have a ton of liquidity that hasn't already been deployed, but I'm finally getting around to consolidating, really, truly, the work I should have done probably 4 months ago. Honestly, there are some tokens I've had that I haven't done a good thorough wallet cleaning in a minute. So I'm finally getting around to that. I think I'm mostly in all the positions I want to be in. I was finally able to acquire some stone, so I'm feeling good about that. And I'm perfectly happy to let the markets be red while I take my time and get these bags packed for the flight, so to speak. Let me see. What about everybody else? How are you feeling about it? Are you feeling like market sentiment is low? It's been pretty red, like Aaron said. So let me know how you're feeling about it. And let's see what we can't do. Good morning, Focus Kid. Hey, great to see you here. Thanks for hanging out, man. And Aaron, if you're here and you want to jump up, come on in. Alex and I are usually live Monday through Thursday about 30 minutes ago. We had some technical difficulties this morning. I've been in Michigan the whole last week. You saw. So I don't have my usual setup. Although it's looking like I am going to pull the trigger on a new phone, an iPhone 14 Pro. So I'll be in this century. And I'm grateful to everybody who helped make it possible. I really do appreciate it. Jamal, thank you for requesting. I'm sorry to say I don't recognize you, and it's not that I'm trying to be unfriendly. It's just that we got to protect the audience. We've had folks come in before who we didn't know who they were, and they did some stuff to us. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They got us in trouble. So hang out in the chat. Let me know who you are, what you're doing, and let's get to know each other a little better, and then we'd love to have you up, absolutely. Zigzag, glad to have you here. Focus Kid, Pixel, the new Pixel. Everything in my life is Apple right now. I'm considering getting a PC, a desktop, so that I can stream from that, something that'll run Windows without dying, which could be an Apple product if I got a dual operating system, but I'm not trying to tax the RAM. I'm trying to do streaming and video content, So hopefully soon the phone content will get an upgrade, the show will get a little upgrade, and then the computer will be right behind it. New phone. Tempted to buy an old school Nokia 3210 brick. My girlfriend's favorite was the BlackBerry back in the day. She loved the keyboard. She felt those things were indestructible and wishes she could go back. And I just never got BlackBerry. I just didn't get it. Good morning, Sonoran. So good to see you. Uh-oh. Pixel is awful and overheats on a heartbeat, can't multitask. Anti-Apple here, sir. And honestly, I'm anti all of it, but at this point, I am doing what I can with what I got until the revolution gets here, until we can make it happen. So I have made peace. I have made peace with the Apple thing. I have made peace with most of it. The temporary peace you make in war between foes. Like, you understand? Dan says, just started in crypto in January. What's the best platform for low cap investments? That's a great question. And if you've got a crypto question, I would like to know, how long have you been here? Is this your first market cycle? And what are you feeling right now? What are you doing in crypto? Are you an investor? Are you building products? Are you just checking things out, like for the social side of crypto? Let me know who you are, what you're doing, and what you're kind of dealing with in this moment if you're paying attention. Sonoran had a BlackBerry. Is Faceless Many still going? Yes. Yes, DJ Y Daddy. And I can give an update on that too. And in fact, I'd like to stall on it a little because if Alex gets here, he'll be able to add even more good context. So hold tight. You might need to bump me again. I want to answer this question about low cap dexes. We'll see how it works out. Elon's prediction about Tesla going to 40 trillion. Elon has to make predictions like that. Aaron. He has to make predictions like that. His job as the CEO is really not to be the chief engineer, the guy with the wrench in the lab. His job is to be the most interesting man in the world who can garner attention whenever he needs it. So his shareholders, more than anything he does, that's how his shareholders are going to recoup their investment and capitalize. He's one of the most interesting people in the world. He's a billionaire. Him and Bezos, they're bing-bonging back and forth for money wealth, but also attention wealth. The money is a reflection of the attention. And so I absolutely think that, I don't know about 40 trillion, but I absolutely think that he's doing his job to add value to the share price by being public and making claims like that. I think it is an effective strategy, or at least will remain an effective strategy until something changes. Yeah, every blue collar job. And they just came to XAI. Elon just came to XAI. Morning. Elon just brought XAI to Memphis, where I live. They're committed. They bought land. They're building a facility there. They want to build a supercomputer. And they want to do it in Memphis. And I am telling you what, the money that they put into that is not going to flow to the everyday people like you and me in Memphis, Tennessee, who need better jobs, who need more attention, more investment in their infrastructure, and so on and so forth. I'm sure that he will do something cute and cool for our city. Maybe he'll put in a high-speed rail there or something. I don't know. But most of those jobs are going to go to high-paid tech workers, and I'm a little bit worried about our water. Are they going to help us, protect it and preserve it, or are they going to extract it from us? You know what I mean? So the question about low caps, what's the best platform? Tell me, Dan, where you live. It sounds like, Dan Kennedy. Maybe you're one of the Kennedys living here in the U.S. If you're in the United States, or anywhere else for that matter, the best resource, first of all, to find good platforms to trade a new token on, I would say, is to visit CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. Look up the token on one of those apps. They're free. They both have great websites also. We prefer CoinGecko here on the show. And they will tell you on the tokens page all the markets it's available to trade on. So you'll see if it's, Gate.io, Bitfinex, whatever, you name it. And if you're having trouble with the specific steps, like you're using a new platform for the first time, one of my favorite hacks is to ask GPT, like, how do I do this on platform? How do I swap Bitcoin for sushi on Uniswap? Whatever it is. And the second thing I would do, if you're just looking for a general platform, I've got two recommendations for you. The first recommendation is a little broader in scope. Every network has exchanges. You got to have exchanges that connect to your network because that's how you access the liquidity there. And my personal favorite play, especially for low caps, you're going to want a decentralized exchange, not your Coinbases, not your Krakens, because it's going to take longer for tokens to meet the required approvals to be posted there. You're not going to get in early on a smaller alternate low cap project by waiting until it's on Coinbase. The best way to get into a project early is to find a decentralized exchange. And every DEX has one. I recommend, playing around and finding one you like. If you're on, for example, the Ethereum network, you would go to Uniswap probably first because it's the most well established. If you were on the Ton network, the Telegram network, a newer network, you're going to have less options. There's Stone Finance and there's D-Dust. And that's like it. I do think there are a couple of others that are compatible with Ton, but those are the native 2-ton network decentralized exchanges. So that's going to be where people are going to be launching the altcoins, the meme coins, and you can get in early if you get the contract address from CoinGecko from their website after you hear about it, do your research, that kind of thing. So find leading DEXs, decentralized exchanges on layer 1 blockchains, and then verify contract addresses. The last thing I'll say about it is if you're on Solana, probably the most, just by volume right now, the most tokens are being launched on pump.fun. And if it's a legitimate, I don't know, we're building a new AI protocol, whatever, project, they won't launch on pump.fun. But if you're talking about meme coins and you want to get in early, pump.fun is the place to be. There's a great product called Photon Bot, Photon. I published it in yesterday's newsletter. That is like if BonkBot and Dex Screener had a baby. It allows you to scan for tokens, like check an audit if there is one, to see the community sentiment about it, to see a chart, to see all the information Dex Screener gives you, but it also has like a 2-click interface to buy. So unlike Dex Screener where you got to navigate away, pull up BonkBot, type in the contract address, tell it how much you want to spend, click the buy button. This is like you do all your research here, you got your wallet funded and ready to go, you click buy, boom, done. So if you're looking to get in early on, I would not call them low cap gems, maybe low cap rocks, then Solana, pump.fun, that would be the place to be. And then also, yeah, that's it, layer 1 DEXs. Let me know if you have questions about that, Dan. If anybody else has other tips, I'm happy to hear them for sure. Also, could I ask someone a favor? I'm so sorry. Let me see if I can do it on my laptop. Somebody just, I saw the notification in the Discord. They said, Evan, send the live. I think they need the link. So pardon me, and then I'll catch up on this chat. I almost said my password out loud. Democrats worship Satan. How interesting. DeFi Llama, also a great tool, can be useful to find low-cap DEXs with TVL locked. DeFiLlama.com is a great website that you absolutely need in your crypto toolkit right next to CoinGecko, right next to CoinMarketCap, because the layout, super simple. It is a great place to get up to the moment information. They've been doing it for a long time, and you can find pretty much any chain there. If you want to do staking, if you want to do bonding, if you want to, I don't know, find a liquidity pool or create a liquidity token like a pair, that's a great place to go to start, get all your information. I was there recently, and that was how when I wanted to verify like what was the activity on Solana like versus the activity on Base in their ecosystem, one of the first metrics I look for is TVL, total value locked in different protocols. And that was the first place I went, and they had a ton of other statistics too. Transactions per month, per day, change over 24-hour period. It's a great dashboard. And like I said about Elon, the money goes where the attention flows. So one of the best plays in crypto, if you're investing, trying to speculate, is generally to pay attention to new layer 1 networks launching and the ecosystem as it progresses there. Every layer 1 network, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, etc., is going to need a decentralized exchange. They'll use Coinbase and other centralized exchanges, but they're going to need a decentralized exchange. That's going to be a place where you can pay attention. That exchange is probably going to need a token. That's a token worth paying attention to. It would be worth knowing if there was a leading DEX on a new network that was undervalued. That kind of thing. Oh my God. I just got a text from Mr. Alex Popovich, and you're not going to believe what just happened. Alex texted me 2 words. It said, early, eh? Which confirms for me that it is, in fact, 20 minutes to showtime, that because we go live at 7 a.m. Central Time, we're early. As they say in crypto, guys, we're early. So I'm mixing up Dan Kennedy and the DJ who's in my chat. If you want to hear a Faceless Labs update, Faceless Many update, then I'm sure Alex will give it when he gets up here. Alex, take your time. I am living in the future today. I thought it was showtime an hour ago, and you should have seen me. I was all here and ready. I had my setup. It was kind of dark, so I was fussing about that, and then I was, getting my text straight, and then my phone just decided, why bother? I am indeed early, so hold tight. I am sent live. Let me put the link in here. TikTok.com. And let me take this moment to make the pitch that just like I mentioned about PhotonBot, boom. We put all the best, briefest links from the show into our once weekly Rise Up Morning Show newsletter, okay? It's the best, briefest bullets from the show. And this last week was literally a bullet point list of resources. PhotonBot was on it, a guide to get started, and then also, I think, a video about it. And I also have linked DeFi Llama numerous times. I have not checked out Bullybot yet, Aaron. I was on a live with Aaron there in the comments, and they suggested Bullybot, which sounded like an even cooler new product that we'll get to touch and play with and use to see what's happening in the meme coin space, to interact with tokens and contracts in real time, and maybe get a little more information that would help you move quicker. It's all about speed. It's all about quality of information. And if you're paying attention, you're good. Okay, let me catch up here. Do you think most top dog cryptos will hit all-time highs? Possibly. I think many of them. Will. But I also think some of them will struggle. And nobody has a crystal ball. So it's hard to say. Honestly, the only thing I think and time frame is everything. I don't know if you're talking about tomorrow or next week or next year or in 10 years, focus kid. And it's going to be different for all of these. Could Cardano hit a new all-time high, for example? Certainly. Do I think it's likely to happen in the next couple weeks? No. Maybe not even this cycle. I would be less surprised, though, if Cardano was around for another 4 years than, I don't know, another project that hits an all-time high this cycle. And I wouldn't be surprised if in 4 to 6 years, maybe they hit a new all-time high again. Or maybe they've got a new speculative token. Maybe the ADA token does different stuff. They've forked it by now. I don't know. A lot can change in 4 years. But do I think this run of up activity is over? No. I really kind of am waiting for the signal I'm waiting for. I don't think Bitcoin is done going up in the short to medium term. I think the election, I think many macro events are messing around with it with the ETF. I personally, though, am expecting to see it go higher before it goes significantly lower. Take that for what it's worth. And personally, I will be accumulating the whole way. Even if it went to $20,000 tomorrow, my conviction in Bitcoin would not go away because the thesis around Bitcoin remains unchanged, honestly. Unless the framework, the setup of Bitcoin changes, like the members of the network collectively decide to fork it and start using the new protocol and I don't like it anymore, then I'm going to probably be buying Bitcoin, whether it's $1 million or $1,000. More if it's 1,000, honestly. Yes, I have a dog in my lap. This is Lucy. She's trying to sleep. She's like, what? You would out me on your stream? Lucy is my best good friend. We've been together for 9 years. And on mornings like this when we're outside and I'm, the only good seat in town, she hangs out on my lap. The blessing to my life. Thank you, Dan says. You're welcome. Dude, shave your head. It's time to let the hair go, buddy. It's so funny because I have said when I'm done with long hair, that's what I want to do next is go the opposite direction. And Kimberly's always telling me, don't do it because it'll never grow back the same way. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, honey. She's right most of the time, but she's right about that. And I don't know. So it's probably not in the cards for me anytime soon. It's kind of at this point, I have mostly built my public-facing brand with a look like this. So it would be a rebrand, you know what I'm saying? And we still haven't, I don't think, leveraged it to its full potential. I think there's a, Herbal Essences, Pantene Pro V. Apparently there's a DAO that sponsors hair products. I think there's a sponsorship in our future. Is PhotonBot the one that needs pho? No. I think it's a Solana. No. It's a Solana product. I have never heard of the Pho token, and it very well could be a token for the PhotonBot, but you use Sol. Just noticed that was a dog. I thought my legs were ungodly. Ungodly hairy. That's hilarious. No, my legs are just regularly hairy. Let me hear that. Are you talking about the bird song? Life is $10.99 in W2 if not well. Sorry. I'm catching up, everybody. Thank you for going early. I was sitting there watching everybody else garbage waiting for you. Blue. I mean, shit. Look at that setting. Yeah, it's beautiful here. So we're at Grammy and Gramps' house. We're under a gazebo they built when I was still a kid. And we've got flowers over here, flowers over there. I've got some lights hanging up. I've got all these, craft projects they've made over time. I've got my Tennessee coffee cup. We've got the creek back there behind us, the sun rising in front of us. And it's just a perfectly tempered morning today. I think it's going to be a hot day because it's kind of warm right now. But it's just a perfect Michigan summer day. And the birds are just singing their song. Okay, I'm caught up now. Oh, nope, I'm not. Good morning, Tori. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love you all, but you got to bear with me. Everybody, listen, if you're just waiting for me to read the comments, do this. Let me know. This is the question I'm asking today. Let me know if this is your first cycle, if it's your second cycle, third cycle, how long you've been here, what you're doing here. And if you are, concerned about what you're seeing, if it's time to do a gut check, if you're feeling excited about stuff, and give me some more context, how everybody's feeling, taking temperatures. And Alex will be here with us in a little bit. We'll really get the official show started. As you're doing that, make a note if you haven't already. Please do sign up for the newsletter. You can tap my face or head to theriseupmorningshow.com. And it's just a briefest best bullets, one time a week. I hate newsletters. Try to make it super simple. That will allow us to have all the links from the show the previous week in one place. Alex recommends a book, it goes there. If Will makes a tutorial about a undervalued layer 1 DEX, it goes there. I talk about whatever there. Sometimes there's context in like a very brief article, but usually it's just a statement, a link kind of thing, so that you don't have to tune in to 12 hours of live streams a week to get the good stuff from this show. And the other thing is, if you're not in the Discord community yet, please do join the Rise Up Morning Show Discord community. We're also on Warpcast. It's a channel /rise-up. If you're not on Warpcast, you can use the referral link in my bio. Super easy to get there. It's the best place to get high signal, close proximity information to people who are building crypto protocols that are going to be significant in the future right now. And honestly, which are significant right now. So please do check that out. Warpcast, check us out on the Discord community. Even if you're intimidated by Discord, I promise it's easy. And we will help you. And then the newsletter, those are the asks for you. You can find it all at theriseupmorningshow.com. And give my face a little tap, because it lets TikTok know that you enjoy your time here. And then they do more to support us. Maybe one day they'll give us blue checks. Oh my gosh. Alex, good note about the 2021 crash. Crypto could go all the way to the moon, and it could go all the way to the center of the earth at any moment. We absolutely don't know. We're in uncharted waters. We have some indicators. There are some buoys along the path that we've seen before, right? Which is how we can answer some of these questions with a little more familiarity. But don't allow yourself to be fooled into thinking you know what's going to happen. I certainly don't. Alex certainly doesn't. Satoshi, wherever they may be, doesn't know what's going to happen. Thank you, Sonora. And Lucy says good morning, too. Don't let go of that hair, Aaron says you'll miss it. Yeah, Alex, we got to get this hair down to sponsor the show. I'm on it. Cycle? Somebody asked, what's a cycle? I'm referring to what people commonly call in crypto the cycle, often the 4-year cycle, where Bitcoin's price establishes a new all-time high, which in retrospect, you can see was like sort of a journey. It happens kind of like this every 4 or so years. It roughly follows an event called the Bitcoin halving, which is a thing programmed into the Bitcoin code where the amount of Bitcoin, the information that represents Bitcoin, which is released into the network by a computer code, it's cut in half. So this has pretty dramatic impacts on the Bitcoin economy. And generally speaking, in crypto, things have followed that kind of major, that's our major macro event. Things have followed that, things have followed other world events, but Bitcoin was only publicly tradable starting in 2009, and that's when it had a price. It was tradable before that, I mean on markets for dollars, everywhere. And so that's only, I can't count, that's only 15 years. We're entering, year 16 kind of thing. And it's not a lot of data. So that's why Alex said it could go anywhere at any moment. We have these cycles. People who are meaning makers try to find patterns and meaning in everything. That's why we make charts. That's why we invented language. And it's tough when there's not a lot of data, or there is a lot of data, but it hasn't been around for a long time, to really make sense of it, to get a pulse on it, to get a feel on it. When we refer to cycle, that's what we mean. And you'll often hear people say bull cycle or bear cycle, bullish, bearish. This refers to, if they're talking about bulls, upward activity for a longer period in the market. And bear is a downward activity in the market for a longer period. And in crypto, I should say this too. You will notice if you spend time here that people who are investing money and attention here seem to move very quickly. They'll talk one day about how the bull run is back, and then the next day they'll be like, oh, it's the bear cycle. And I think this reflects sort of an immaturity in our space in terms of this is a lot of people's first financial investment. But I also think it is a reflection of how quickly things move here. Crypto is the only place I know where you can move 20% in a day and not feel that bad about it. Anywhere else in the stock market, that would be a front page headline if Apple stock dropped 20% in a day. You know what I'm saying? If Bitcoin dropped 20%, it would be a significant move because it's pretty established. But I would honestly just go out and buy more. So if you have other questions, let me know. I'm glad you're here. I hope that was a helpful answer to you. This is something we do every Monday through Thursday, and we love having learners at all experience levels, people who are finding out about crypto for the first time or people who are really suspicious, skeptical. We're skeptical. And we have a great community of learners at all levels of experience. Some people who've been here for a long time, some people who've been here just for a short while, some people who, aren't in this kind of group, this cult as it were, but who, just want to see what we're talking about. It's a very healthy diversity in this community. And I do want to acknowledge that it does, it does get kind of culty, and we do tend to talk a lot of inside baseball because there are so many jargony things. So if we go too much in that direction, please lovingly call us back. I would appreciate it. Wrong time zone, right time. Hey, from Northville. So good to see you here. I'm here in Midland, squirrel watching. Oh my gosh, we've got so many squirrels and chipmunks. Had to save all money again, so back at the beginning. Oh, that's a painful place, but a good place if you brought the knowledge you gained with you. First time, full circle, and I'm all in. Like everything, 700K plus. Wow, Anthony, that's a lot of conviction. I'd be curious to know more about what gave you the conviction you have to be in crypto. I think I see Roby1 Kenobi here. I can't quite tell. The blue of my shirt is just messing with the white of the text. So let me put my chest over here. Hey, welcome, Willow. It's so good to have you here. I've got kangaroos. Okay, I am caught up on the chat. Alex is going to be here in a couple minutes. In the meantime, thank you all for hanging out with me. It's so good to be here with you, Tori. Crypto Camelo, welcome back. And let me know what you're thinking. At this point, let me see. No, take your time, Alex. Take your time, brother. It's interesting to think back on where we were at this time about 4 years ago and about 4 years before that, for people who weren't here at that time, and it goes further back. I don't have the vision to see further back than that. But I do remember a couple of things. The first time I encountered Bitcoin was in 2011. I heard a speech from a friend, an informative speech at an academic competition, forensics. And it was about 10 minutes on Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain, smart contracts, Satoshi Nakamoto. And after explaining sort of what it was, how it worked, he discussed the implications for the future, which largely focused on cryptocurrency. And I have been meaning to reach out to him and say, can I have a copy of that speech? Because I'd like to read it and see how prescient it was, to see what's changed in the perspective of a researcher from that time to this time. Because I honestly don't remember much of it. I did not buy Bitcoin at that time. To do the speech and the research for it, he had bought $25 worth of Bitcoin in 2011. So I'm pretty sure he had at least 5 of them. But I can remember, especially in 2017, when things were hitting sort of a significant all-time high. It was the first time I think I remember everyday people around me paying attention to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And when I bought in, I bought the top or close to it. I started investing. But I was pretty passive, and I didn't at that time get introduced to the potential for blockchain beyond cryptocurrency, beyond money and number go up. It wasn't until about 2019 when things were not as exciting, but people who had been here a while were thrilled to talk about it and excited that more people were paying attention. And I started to encounter people who were teaching about why this stuff mattered. And it was at that time that I became really enthusiastic and things were picking up. I remember that's when I first became hip to the project AIOZ. A lot of people you'll see are talking about AIOZ right now. And I don't know what's changed with AIOZ, but at that time, I remember being like, wow, this is so cool. Decentralized social media, they're going to do what YouTube's doing, but it's going to be on the blockchain. Since that time, I have just learned a lot about how people operate as businesses in the cryptocurrency space that makes me a lot more jaded. If me now would have gone back and looked at that project, I don't know that I would have found it particularly promising. And I'd be curious to know if anybody in here holds AIOZ or is investing in it or watching in it, because that's one of those tokens that I don't know that anything has improved. In fact, I think their position has kind of changed. I remember when I looked at it that maybe they've moved away from just like the one app YouTube model to like content of all kinds, platform, community. I think they're doing something different now. They had to pivot to stay relevant or to, keep their business alive or whatever. And the token to me just seems speculative for a product that I don't have any conviction is gonna do big things. So I'd be curious to know. But that's an example of how, like, cycle to cycle, there are different narratives. There are different products that emerge that have crypto tokens attached to them, some of which I would say are objectively not better, but more tangible than others. Look, I'm getting filtered by the sun. Sorry about it. So it can be helpful to understand cycles and to look not just to what's happening right now, but to what has happened. And to have that in the back of your brain, that kind of historical precedent that allows you to say, no, this is in fact not the first crypto reality show, or, this is in fact not the first decentralized social media call, or the first Web3 telecom business using AI. You're going to see people make claims like that all the time. And if you're not hanging out here because you've been here a while or because you're in a community of people, you're going to get glazed over by claims like that. I think the kids are saying glazed over to mean something different now. It's going to capture your attention in an enthralling way, hypnotizing. I did not mean that other thing. You're not going to get glazed over. I'll update my language. Oh my God. Do I think massive dilution of money into memes this cycle will affect the bull run? Wes, that's a great question, and I don't have the metrics in front of me, though I could look at them. I would go, what I want to look for is to first verify the question there. Like, my gut is telling me that most of the capital in crypto is not in memes. And I know that just by looking at the market caps of Bitcoin and Ethereum. versus something like Solana, for example. I know most of that money has nothing to do with meme tokens, and that is most of the money in the crypto market. I think most of the people like you and me, Wes, people like everyone here who is like paying attention to crypto because they're trying to build a better future, whether that's like financially through investments or with their attention with their products. Most of those people, their money and their capital, like what we're doing here, investing our attention on TikTok, that represents a very small part of the crypto space. And it doesn't have the same kind of power to move the market as an ETF getting approved. It's like a splash in the pond. So I don't actually think it has impacted us much, and I think the impact has been much more positive than negative because it has brought increased attention, increased interest, and it's also brought increased velocity of money. There are more products now that give more people the ability to turn dollar bills into crypto tokens of all kinds right now than at any point in history. They're easier to use than ever. They're cheaper, faster. People like them. Pump.fun is a good example of that. I think it's a lot of the same liquidity or new liquidity coming to pay attention to crypto maybe for the first time. But I don't think it's a significant amount to cause like a bull or bear run, except in our circles. And of course, I want to welcome my brother, Mr. Alex Popovich, to the Rise Up Morning Show. Alex, woo, he's got the hair out in force. I love it. How are you, man?
Good. Gave me a little bit of a startle today.
Yeah, me too, apparently. I was up working, getting ready for the show, paying no attention to the time or the time zone or what time our show actually starts. I just was looking for that big number 7 on my phone screen and thinking, oh, it's going to be a great day today. And
I
that's good because I had all those, I don't know. My phone is putting on a final performance before I put it away and get a new, better one, I think is what's happening.
I'm excited. It's high time. Although I will miss ripping on you a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sure that my phone will give me an opportunity to let you do that. Listen, man, should I take off the outer shirt and give people even more reasons to ask if we're brothers?
Might as well.
Oh my gosh, it's almost warm enough here that I will. Um, Let me know how your weekend was, how your Father's Day was, man. I hope you guys had fun.
It was good. Yeah, we were in Savannah yesterday. We went to Namaste.
Love it. Namaste, if you're in Savannah, has the best Indian
That's,
cuisine. So
that,
good.
so that was good. Overdid a little bit and went and got ice cream after that. We were all super stuffed, so then we kind of just came back and went horizontal and lay there for the rest of
Splurged.
the day.
Yeah, there it is. The first comment. Twins? No. But you'd be surprised how much we get that. It must just be, that Michigan water did something to us. Um, is that you or is that me?
That was me.
What does that sound? Is somebody crying in
My,
your closet?
my desk.
Sorry, man. So give me a recap. What mountain shaking stuff did I miss on the show last week? And then somebody asked us to do a quick update on Faceless Labs and the Faceless Many, so I thought we could do
Hmm.
that too.
Yeah. Well, last week was all a blur. Um, I don't. What did we? I don't know. Help me out.
Well, here, let me tell you what I put in the newsletter. I put your I was hoping you might tell me a little about crypto rank. I put your token
Hmm.
unlock article there. I thought that was cool. It looks like you might have talked about the Fed some because you recommended a book about how the Fed is destroying America, something about more money than God, or it had a title like that. No country for old men, but money and breaking our system. Uh, the smart wallet. I wondered if you got a deeper dive on that because I know you've been reading, and I'm curious to hear what your experience with that is. Just those, general
Yeah.
things, but also like anything else you might have found.
Um, that's a pretty good cover. Yeah. Nathan joined us last week and had a really good spiel about the Fed. Dropped some dropped the book recommendation and made it a point to come back at some point. He got rugged in the middle of his sermon, and so we lost him. But it was a good one. He's definitely he knows a lot more than he I don't know. he knows a lot more about a lot more stuff than I got the impression from seeing his lives a couple times.
Yeah, he's extremely knowledgeable and he's active
Yeah.
in his knowledge. I feel like he's like Will, where when Will's like, guys, I found this new token, and then he just throws the whole book at us, and I'm like, haven't even heard about it. He was the one, I was in one of his lives when he was like, yeah, he just said offhandedly in a, not braggadocious way at all. Somebody asked about the future of Polygon Matic. He's like, yeah, I think the token split and the move away from the Matic token is going to be really big for them. And I was like, excuse me, what? Like something I hadn't even heard was coming. So I appreciate that he came to the show, and I'm sad that I missed that.
Yeah, so that was good. Other than that, it was mostly just me vibing with everyone for the week. Um, Sonoran was the one who mentioned token unlocks, and I was like, okay, I've
Heck
never
yeah.
hadn't gone through that before, and realized that it's just like that's a really good way to kind of do a little bit of light guesswork.
Yeah.
Imagining or thinking about what is the comparison between the value of the incoming unlock for whatever token we're looking at, because tons of them have schedules that you can look up, compared to like their monthly trade volume. So if token Y is getting a $15 million unlock on June 1st or July 1st or whatever next month is, and right now they're only trading $30 million a month. That's half of their trading volume is getting unlocked here.
A big shift.
So, who's getting those tokens, and what do we think that could do to the price? And I had never framed it quite like that before, so I really liked that. And then I found we were kind of poking around like for some of the different sites to look up, and I stumbled across CryptoRank, which the name sounded a little familiar, but I had not familiarized myself with it all. And they have a mobile app too, but I just really liked, and it's all free. I haven't even like made an account.
Wow.
Yeah, just like so they have a whole tab just about fundraising, so you can look up who raised how much when, and that was really insightful. And then upcoming and current IDOs, ICOs, past IDOs, ICOs, like a whole bunch of ROI charts of these different launches and stuff. Massive lists of exchanges, and then of course the unlock schedule, and vesting schedules for pre-seed and pre-sale investors. So if you have a token that just launched, you can look up the vesting schedules and kind of get like those token unlock data. And this is 100%. I make this video like once a month. I should probably step it up where I'm just like, look, if you guys want to win at this, you gotta get bored. And this is what I'm talking about, because you could go and easily spend hours, like I've done so far, just scrolling through this to just get names and lists of stuff, because but it's boring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's literally it. The biggest reason people get hosed in crypto is because they have no attention span, and they just flip from live to live or video to video of someone giving them buy signals, and then they gamble on whatever thing that person told them for the day, and then they get screwed or they get hosed because they didn't get the full picture, or it turned out to actually be a paid shill, or it was just all a scam to begin with, and they have no other context to make that purchase. So then they just kind of get screwed. And the few people who are constantly out here winning at all of this shit are the ones who spend time to look up the boring stuff and allow themselves to be a little bit bored. And that's it. If you can't get bored, you're never going to get good at anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Allow yourself to become bored in order to become curious, for sure.
Anyway, so cryptorank.io. Huge fan. Again, not sponsored, but we totally should be. And I was just super impressed with the way that they have information presented. Um, I also like that they have so they have top gainers and top losers, um, which is pretty nicely kind of spaced out. That was nice. They have just a bunch of different like ways that you can visualize all of this stuff. Lots of different charts and graphs, so that even when you're reading boring shit, you know, it's visual references for everything, which was nice. Um,
Do they do launches too there, Alex, as well as unlocks of already launched tokens?
oh yeah, yep, yep.
Yeah.
Upcoming, current, and past are all indexed here. It looks like I haven't
Okay.
gone too far into all of those to see how comprehensive it is, but um,
Yeah, that's a helpful resource.
definitely very helpful.
Will asked us a question about our thoughts on. I want to get his exact wording because I thought it was a good question. Any thoughts on Base's
Hmm.
success, spilling some of their success over into optimism? Um, are you familiar, Alex, with the Superchain narrative that Base and Optimism and Coinbase are weaving? Okay,
Not totally.
so this question kind of plays right into it. Base, for folks who don't know, is a layer 2 network built on the layer 1 Ethereum using Optimism's OP tech stack. Optimism is also a layer 2, but the way these companies are in relationship and the way the networks are talking about each other is it's like a horizontal tech stack where Optimism's tech enables Base and therefore Coinbase, Ethereum, to be the solution that scales to reach the next billion users or whatever. Their marketing is all about together, not apart. And you will see lately Coinbase, Base people, and OP people, optimism people, all talking in this language. And the Ethereum community has been talking for a long time. People like Vitalik have been talking for a long time, about how the future is multi-chain, together, not apart. We got to be modular. And if you look at the Ethereum roadmap, they have kind of an eye towards how are we going to scale Ethereum using like roll-ups, tech stacks like Optimism. So this is a move that's been a long time coming, and they call it the Superchain. And when I say they, I mean Optimism people, Base people, and Coinbase people. And it is Base's success is Optimism's success. Optimism's success is Base's success. They call it the Superchain for a reason. And while it's like marketed as this like together not apart thing, I am a little concerned the way I am concerned about Coinbase involvement in Base with the potential to create a monolith, a monopoly. Sure, it will be a user-owned network, but there will be people who work at Coinbase who have just a little more power than you and me. You know what I mean? Or who have a little more access when they go to hire for the new job, kind of thing. Um, so I think, just to answer the TLDR of it, absolutely that if something good happens for Base, it's good for Optimism. And that those kind of solutions are going to make Ethereum even more of a front runner for like crypto, in the sense of people come here to build things using cryptography and tokens, big time scaling it up.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the super chain, a lot of people, when you hear them talk about it, that's what they're talking about. L2 is Base, built on Ethereum using Optimism's tech stack.
I yeah the the like working theory that I've been um, pondering for the last little bit is that like Solana and Base together are kind of like Android and Apple.
They kind
And
of are, but I think Base is like a Fugazi for Ethereum, which I would say is Android.
yeah, but yes, yeah. No, I don't even have a super clear picture of which one is which, but just these two things that are competing. Hold on.
My thought on that is that Ethereum needs Base. Base is the face that Ethereum is using. Optimism, people are going to speculate on Optimism because they're like, oh, Evan said it's part of the super chain. But I think Optimism is like the token that people will mostly use for gas, which settles to ETH. ETH is the token people will use to speculate on Base and on Optimism in the future. I think ETH is
Hmm.
the number go up token because somebody asked, like, is it going to be around? Is it going to go up in value? I think it's more likely that ETH, which is the network, and the token that represents it as a speculative thing for now, which has an ETF, is going to be the one people like invest in. Optimism is going to be what developers have and use, is my guess, and Base is never going to have a token. And so in that way, I think they will compete with Solana, and I think better than anybody right now. You said Solana's the front runner, and by all the metrics they are. But when I look at that like office, to make it like a sports analogy, I'm watching Solana players on the field, but there's a bajillion trillion dollars. There's all the developers. There's everything at the Ethereum Foundation. They are the New York Yankees of crypto, and it's not even close.
No, I don't disagree, but there's an interesting so with Solana, right? We're seeing this like interesting phenomenon play out where there are Solana is probably the easiest blockchain to talk about issues on, right? It's probably the easiest one for like the layperson to pick out and identify the problems of, because it's one of the most aggressive, or most in your face. But what's interesting is that it also just so happens to be one where the problems don't matter. And any other blockchain with the problems, like even half of what Solana faces, would just be nearly crippled by them, if not completely.
100%.
And so you're seeing this thing where, everyone who is like coming to crypto for the first time and looking at it, and I mean like an individual, I don't mean an institution or a company, but just an individual human being, they're getting hit in the face with Solana first, because the products and the language and the marketing are much more consumer focused, and they're much more consumer forward. And so regardless of whether or not they are technically superior or even technically comparable to Ethereum via Base or any other, top down scaling solution for Ethereum, Optimism, etc., the individual is going to Solana first every single time. And Ethereum is being like, that's kind of I know I heard you talking about it a little bit earlier. Just like the presence of retail in the market this time, and how a lot of liquidity is being sucked into the meme coin casino, but a lot of it is the same recycled liquidity, which is accurate. There's like a few big memes and they've kind of done their thing, and then new liquidity comes in and kind of keeps those sort of churning up. Like the Brett and the Shib and the Pepe and whatever, the big blue chip memes. But then all the other little fringe ones are just sort of like taking turns rugging, and the snowball of liquidity is kind of like rolling into one and into another and into another, and it's just kind of like this vortex that's going around. And I find that's an interesting take, because the data would suggest that retail has not really entered crypto yet, and that a lot of retail activity is selling last cycle's bags right now, which is very interesting. Like a lot of the really big, analytical Twitter accounts, for example, are just like constantly posting data and screenshots and analysis and whatever, and it's all just like countries are buying, governments are buying, large institutions are buying. Who the fuck is selling? And it's all the salty bag holders from last time who are over it, and they're just handing the keys to the Ferrari off to these giant companies and allowing the whole thing to kind of be centralized, which is sort of sad. But it's that same kind of thing. It's bored. It's, who's willing to be bored, and institutions are a lot more patient than retail, who has no clue what's going on. It's a very interesting phenomenon that's going on in the space.
So I'm on this. I'm just as you're talking about it. I was on this Google journey to see if I type. I was trying to guess like, how do I buy Bitcoin? Would probably be like the most common phrase. I could do a Michael thing and go to Google AdWords, but I just wanted to go quick. Or how do I buy crypto? And I was just curious, like, what are the ads I encounter first? As somebody just coming here who knows nothing, who's going to the internet for help, what crypto token is going to be sold to me first? And of course, like Bitcoin is the answer. Bitcoin is pretty much the only cryptocurrency that everybody else wants to sell you. Like Glenn said the other day, people are just trying to separate you from your Bitcoin at this point. It's got the most proof for the pudding.
Mhm.
And the Ethereum Foundation, they don't really advertise, not to people like that. Um, and it's interesting because a lot of the platforms I went to, which are exchange pages like Coinbase or whatever, Coinbase comes up first, by the way. They sell you on Bitcoin, but always at the bottom of every page they have how to buy this one, how to buy this one, how to buy this one, how to buy this one. And it seems kind of arbitrary, but it's like the top 10. Solana, Doge, XRP,
Mhm.
AVAX, Ethereum many times. But it just seems like I couldn't find a good. I went to Lunar Crush because I wanted to see Lunar Crush. If you don't know, it looks like they might not be a
No,
free website anymore.
no, they've changed quite a bit actually.
Oh, that hurts my feelings so much. I haven't been there in a while. Do we have an alternative that we like? I went
Not
to
really.
Lunar Crush for the folks who are wondering because they are a social aggregator and they have a paid membership, and I'm sure it's fantastic, honestly, truly. Um, but maybe I got to call them for a sponsorship so we can sell their product or something because I'm not paying $24 at this very moment to tell you. But
How
they
much?
are the kind of place you could go to see how much is a blockchain spending on advertising, how many impressions are they getting on social. That was the next place I was going to go was to Twitter and Google
Yeah,
Solana, Ethereum, and just see the quality of conversations. Because I bet you're right. I agree with you. Solana talks about it better than anyone. They're simpler to understand than anybody, and they're fun. The fun is a big thing because people in the Bitcoin world, they need a break. They're getting
yep,
information that they don't understand. What do they understand is like, where do I go to make money? And all the ads are like, you know what? Buy Chinese Brett right now. Buy Donald Trump's hat right now, and we're
yeah,
going to the moon, baby. Let's rip.
yeah,
All on Solana.
yeah. No, Solana is winning that game, and it's not even close.
Okay, real quick though, what do you think about the smart wallet's impact? Because I really do think it's like a chess game happening back here where Ethereum, Coinbase, uh, optimism, the Superchain people, the Farcaster people, they're making their moves. And it's just like a chess game and they're slowly
Mm.
circling in on the king. I think the smart wallet is like the queen. The queen is on the board and
Yeah,
like taking pieces is like what I'm seeing, or about to take a
no.
piece.
My impression so far is just that it's. I have two thoughts. One, if you can get in there and you start poking around with it and using it, um, it's really nice. It's very easy. Uh, there's a little bit of confusion that I'm hoping gets cleaned up. Because if you go straight from your Coinbase account and you try to get into the Web3 wallet or smart wallet, there's a little bit of mess there to where you're not quite sure exactly which one you're going into, and they are not both the same thing, and
Okay.
they have not removed the links and stuff like to take you into Web3 wallet versus smart wallet stuff. And that's a little bit annoying because like my litmus test for it is like if I sit down to do something and I have a hard time with it, it's not good.
No.
And right now, I would say that Smart Wallet is not exactly where it needs to be, which is fine. It's extremely new, um, but it's confusing. It's confusing to get into it. Like if I start a fresh Google search and I'm just like Coinbase Smart Wallet, I'll find so much shit about it. Like the Coinbase blog has great information. There's all these links to the developer docs and like using it in tools and blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. But if I'm just like a person and I go through Coinbase and it's like, hey, Smart Wallet's here, and it's like, okay, sweet. Where is it? And there's just like, I could pull it up here in the background, but I hate to say it, it's just not good right now.
Yeah.
Once you're there and you're doing stuff with it, it's phenomenal. Like it works really, really well. Um, Everything that I've seen, it's very smooth. It's very clean. It's hyper connected, but like, dude, getting there is like annoyingly clunky. And so I'm hoping that that kind of gets cleaned up. That's sort of what's going into the video I was going to make today about it, because this comes at the time, pardon me, where Solana is basically doing something extremely similar, like passkey encrypted. I thought this was really funny that I was at Consensus and Stellar was really like, talking about their passkey stuff. And I was like, wow, this is genuinely super cool. And then their whole sales pitch was like, no one else can do this. And then like within a month, Solana and Base and Ethereum all had passkey enabled wallet integrations and stuff. And so Solana is making some big headway over there too. And so far that's been a little bit easier to onload, but and I get it. Like the passkey thing was like, it was a pretty technical, but in a tiny little nutshell, the reason that passkeys were tough is because passkeys use one encryption curve and blockchains are all using different ones and they all have their own. And those don't talk to each other. That would defeat the whole purpose of encryption. And the reason that Stellar was able to get there and do their passkey integration is because they just got smart contracts a couple months ago. So they had much more freedom. Whereas, Solana, Ethereum, whatever, they could totally just drop it tomorrow and do it, enable passkey type stuff and add that new encryption curve. But the old stuff would not talk to the new stuff. And there would be a big problem where people who have been using Solana, for example, for years, or Ethereum for years, their old stuff would now have a hard time, or it would be impossible for it to talk to the new stuff. And they might lose things in translation. So that's why they hadn't pulled the trigger on it.
I got you.
It's not backwards compatible.
So I that's a perfect segue, and also this question is a perfect segue to set up another point about like how they're talking about it. It's interesting to me that Coinbase, if you Google it, go ahead.
I don't know if you were leading into this. Someone asked for a definition of Web3 a little bit ago, and I wanted to.
You want to give that? Can I
Yes.
touch this real quick first and segue you?
Yep.
Just the interesting difference. If you go to Coinbase.com right now or Google Coinbase, you will see their positioning is buy and sell Bitcoin, the easiest, fastest way to buy crypto. The smart wallet is marketing itself as the easiest, fastest way to bring people on chain. Coinbase, forming this Superchain with optimism and the L2 base that they've built, is making a play to really shift this narrative. And their thing is all these blockchains do cool stuff, but none of them talk to each other. And the infrastructure here, layer ones, layer twos, were you wanting me? Was that for me? Oh, he went away. The interesting thing here is they are making a play to say Ethereum, which is a network, which is a layer one, the foundational layer of the internet, is the platform upon which they are betting. Oh, is that me? Or is it Alex? Test check 1, 2. Oh. It looks like it might be me.
No, that was me. Sorry.
No, it's
Sorry.
okay. All right. Ethereum is making this bet that they will be able to capture the future of the internet. Not Ethereum, Coinbase. By leveraging Ethereum as the biggest foundational layer. That's the difference between layer ones and layer twos. Layer one networks are networks that allow you to get into the cryptocurrency space. They have their own coin, which can be mined. It's a type of token that can be mined that is used to pay for. It is the data that everyone on that network uses at the base layer. Whatever they're doing up here, whether it's a game or a lending protocol, everything at the bottom is settled by data that represents Ether tokens, Ethereum coins. Layer twos are sort of sub-networks built on top of these base layers that make them faster, cheaper. Sometimes they have their own token. And usually what happens is they're able to roll up a bunch of transactions and send them down here so that this congested network, this thing that takes a lot of time and a lot of expense to move, is made faster by this. The example I would like to use is that layer one networks are like highways. They connect people across the country. You can move supply chains on them, but you need smaller roads, city streets, Main Street, Boulevard, country highways that move people around in town. You and I, if we're just living in a city, we probably use city streets more than we use highways to do our grocery shopping and to do our doctor's visits and to see our family. Those are the layer two networks. They scale the ability of layer ones to connect people. And beneath all of this, Alex was saying about Web3. What is Web3? The internet, I was talking about this in a video the other day. The entire value proposition of the internet is networks, meaning connecting people to each other. and scaling our ability to connect, to make meaning. It's a new medium, like language. Like language allows us to talk to each other, to share ideas, to build ideas together. The internet allows us to share space, even when Alex is in Savannah and I'm in Michigan, even when you're in a different time zone. It allows us to post this to YouTube so you can watch it when we're asleep or after we're dead. It extends our ability to make meaning as people. And so everything on the internet, every app you use, email, the World Wide Web, it is a network. These networks, when they were established in the first era of the internet, were open. They were permissionless. Anybody could go anywhere and do anything, but there wasn't anything to do. Nothing had been built yet. Big companies came in with deep pockets and investors. They built the cities of the internet, the eBays, the MySpaces, the Facebooks, the YouTubes, the Spotifys. This is the second era of the internet where now there were things to do, but the problem was it was no longer open and permissionless like it once was. They, the people who build these spaces, they extract and capture almost all of the value there. Over 90% of web traffic is captured by just 1% of companies on the internet. The same is true for revenue. 50, excuse me, a handful of tech companies were responsible for 50% of the S&P 500's growth in the last 4 years. It is a huge conglomerate. You can be deplatformed. You don't own anything on this internet, even though you can go around and do stuff. Web3 is what we call the cryptocurrency blockchain revolution. By creating tokens secured by cryptography that can be programmed and can function according to rules that every person who uses them can propose changes to, can verify, it sort of eliminates the need to have these YouTubes and Googles and Mark Zuckerbergs in the middle of everything. Now, we can just use infrastructure that looks like theirs, collectively owned by all of us, ownership represented by tokens, to do things quicker, with more autonomy and security on the internet. We call this Web3, where you will not only read the information that's there, you will not only participate in creating it, you will own it too. I'm sorry I kind of rugged you on it, but I was on a roll, man. What would you add to that, and how can we be more helpful in getting people to understand, like, I would say this is the true internet. The internet is finally starting to reach its potential because we have this, can have an open, permissionless layer at the bottom to let the network be what it could be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton to add, but maybe just to rephrase it. I mean, Web3 is a marketing term. It doesn't necessarily by itself. No, it. So I always say it's a marketing term, but that doesn't mean it's not describing something real. So when you're like using the internet, you don't like choose like, okay, do I want to go use Web3 or am I still going to use Web2?
Yeah.
It's sort of just like a thing that you can very comfortably do both. I do both all the time, and really that just is just describing the things that you do on the internet and which genre of the internet they fall into. So the simplest, shortest way to say it is that, Web3, as it implies, this is the third iteration of the internet. If you want to kind of break it down like that. In the first one, you could read stuff. In the second one, we all got the ability to also write stuff for other people to read. And then now in the third one, we get to own the stuff that we write for everyone else to read. And instead of Mark Zuckerberg owning all of it, we all get to own our own shit. And so that's kind of the whole point. That you still do the same things that you do on the internet, still use the internet for its exact same purpose, to be hyper connected to everyone, everywhere, all at once. And the difference is that now your data is a little bit more your data, instead of just you doing stuff to earn more money for the few billionaires that own the entire thing.
Alex, can I ask you a clarifying question? I think something I get a lot that I'd like your response to is, when people hear this, they're like, okay, that's great. We're all going to own it. But why would a company, why would Disney or Facebook, why would they, or somebody who's trying to compete with them, embrace this new model of doing business? Why would I build a product and then give ownership and control to the users? If I'm the developer of this piece of code that's going to be the next great app, why would I launch a token that somebody else could buy that would give them a part of what I have created? Like, what's the value or the benefit to me in that?
Yeah, I think there's two. So the value is for anyone who owns it, and a company can own it, as they prove all the time. So, yes, it is true that this type of stuff gives me and Evan the ability to own our own stuff. And that empowers us a little bit more than we were before, via the true ownership of our own data and the data that we produce. However, that cuts both ways. And that is definitely opening the door for a company like Disney to make new kinds of money more than they were before.
Okay.
Because they can continue to do the exact same thing, but now they can monetize things in different ways thanks to some of the tools that have been used to build Web3, like crypto. And that can open them up to new revenue opportunities, like by royalties on digital products that they sell, for one example. So that's one reason that they could be into it. Another reason they could be into it is because it's very easy to be a middleman in crypto. I complain a lot of the time that what we're doing is just trading one middleman for a new middleman. And if before we were upset because Jeff Bezos was our middleman, now we can be upset because Infura is our middleman, or someone else is the middleman. Coinbase is the new middleman. Binance is the new middleman.
Yeah.
So we're not, we might have a little bit more digital autonomy than we did before, but in the grand scheme of things, like most things are not truly Web3. They're kind of like Web 2.25.
Yeah, like 2.5 something.
You get to own it. You can take it and you can send it somewhere else, but really all you're doing is just trading the old middleman for a fresh middleman. And that middleman is still grifting a ton of money and still making a shitload of money, and they're just going to become the next Jeff Bezos. Like it would not be weird if someone like CZ was the next Jeff Bezos, if that's the way that it goes.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree.
Then the third reason, I guess, to give you one more, would be
Love it.
that it is obviously in a company's best interest to have the most customers possible. And if they can figure out a way to capitalize on the first two things, to integrate Web3 tech in some way, shape, or form, and doing that would earn higher morale in their consumer base, or their customers, and encourage people to use them because they have new and better options with them, then they're going to do that. Because at the end of the day, a company's most important priority is its bottom line. And it's definitely worth it. Like, what's the term, Evan, for the Costco hot dog? A loss leader.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's definitely worth it for a company to like give up a little bit of something to get more customers who are happier to be there and spending more money on different stuff. It's definitely in their best interest. The only ones who are resisting are the ones who don't get it. And the ones who resist and don't get it are going to get lapped by the people who do get it.
Well, and let's be clear, it's not entirely their fault. They have a vested interest in seeing things according to their incentives and in moving slow, because they've got to protect their position at the center of the market. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. If you're the king in the castle, your job is not to go out and conquer everybody so much as it is to protect the empire that you've built. And I just want to say, I remember when we were thinking about how to harness the power of NFTs for us, for our clients, for people in the street, for the first time. Max said this phrase about, it's like turning your customer into your advertisers. We all were talking about that. And I remember he said it in a very simple way. It is because of blockchain that we have crypto tokens that can give us the incentive. If you are an owner in a company, or you are using tokens, because now tokens give you the ability to give a tangible form to intangible things, totally novel things, like this concept of, I visited Disney's park today, can have a token to represent it. That's hard to do with a paper receipt for a lot of reasons, but it's easy to do with a token. Tokens are better at that. They do it in an innovative way that has never before been possible, which opens the avenue for Disney to have a new kind of relationship with that customer who came to their park. They don't even need to know my name to know that my wallet address logged in and got that token, that I bought a churro, that I come to their park every day and buy a churro. And then it's free for them to send me a coupon for another one to get me back into their park tomorrow.
Yeah. So, okay. you bring up a very good point. This is part of the value prop for the Show 'em platform.
Exactly. Yeah. Tell
And
them how
so,
Six Flags would use that, to capitalize on Disney's customer market or show them
yeah.
or whoever.
So cool beans, to answer your question, and it wasn't obvious. That's why I asked for clarification. Um, why would you need a token? Okay, so I think cool beans. I feel like you just joined like 1 second ago, because that's almost word for word what I just said. That a lot of Web3 right now is just trading an old middleman for a new middleman. And yes, you might own some more digital property and stuff, but really you're just paying a different person for the same kind of service that you were paying the Web2 Titan for. So if you used to pay Jeff Bezos for something, now you're just going to pay CZ for the same thing, and you're going to feel better about it because it's new and fresh. But really, you're being grifted on by a new billionaire instead of the old billionaire that was grifting you. So
Surprise. Yeah.
I'm completely with it, and I think you are 100% you're spot on with that assessment. The thing that I would say about, like, why would Disney want to give you a token instead of a ticket or a coupon or whatever? There's a couple of reasons. So I think that this was kind of the value prop behind one of the projects that we have worked on. Was it would be really cool for both the company and the consumer. And at this stage, we definitely have to think about the company if we want stuff to get picked up, because if, like Evan was saying, if there's no direct incentive for them, then why the hell would they entertain any of this? And a lot of us are kind of locked into using a lot of these titans of industry because there's just simply no other option. I think my easiest example would be groceries. For where I live, I've got like 3 options, unless I want to drive 45 minutes plus to get to a store, which I could totally do. That's totally in my ability to do. But then I have to start considering other things like, okay, well, now I'm spending more on gas and I have to sit in traffic longer and blah, 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 blah. So I'm kind of locked into like these 2 grocery stores that are close by. And Web3 is very much like that. You want to do something, there's not very many people letting you do things. So I think it's growing pains. We're kind of just like, we're in the baby step phase, where there's a lot of options, but a lot of them don't really work that well, or a lot of them are just not really that important or meaningful. We're tokenizing stuff, but we're kind of doing it the wrong way. Like NFTs are really, really cool, but we keep using it to sell pictures of monkeys with different colored board shorts or whatever. And that's like, okay, yeah, that's technically that's it. But like, really, who gives a shit? And what's the point? And like, oh, okay, it was just a really easy way to grift more people in a fresh way that made them feel like they weren't getting grifted. So I don't know. I don't have a great answer to that question. Like when are we over the exclusively consumption era of Web3? But like, in my humble opinion, this is sort of like the trials and tribulations that we must endure to reach the promised land, sort of thing. Not to get too woo-woo there, but
No. I got an answer for you. I'll take a crack at it.
Well, the last thing I was going to say is the Disney token idea. It's just that, like, from a company perspective, who is exclusively driven to like advertise more efficiently to more people and earn more money and get more customers, tokens just make more sense than non-tokens, because it would be so much easier. For example, my example was always like, think of 2 companies or 2 brands that are not currently affiliated, but maybe should be, but they would really have a very hard time figuring that out without a token. So like Carhartt and Big B Coffee, for example. Maybe they don't have a brand collaboration, but if these companies were allowing their consumers, and I'm not suggesting selling a new product, I'm just suggesting allowing people who use their services now as they're supposed to be, to either buy coffee or buy work clothes or something, could get little tokens to like mark their participation with the company, to mark them as like a valuable consumer or a high spending customer or whatever. Maybe you can earn more if you post about them on social media. They scan and see that kind of thing, and then they can ping you like, hey, drop the wallet address. We'll give you a promotion token or whatever it is. All of a sudden, you have all of these wallets out there that don't need to have human identities attached to them. They can be anonymous, they could be identified, they could be KYC'd, it doesn't matter. And they're full of tokens. And these people are like, oh, okay, cool. Wallet A has a shitload of Carhartt tokens that they've obviously gotten from buying a lot of Carhartt stuff and talking about it very helpfully on social media and advertising for us. And they're not getting paid to do that. They must be doing it because they like Carhartt. Okay, safe inference. They also have a shitload of Big B coffee tokens that they must have earned in the same way. And now this new company,
Big B Coffee.
Fitbit, is like, ooh, okay, look at this person. Like this wallet is clearly like a really high value customer. I want to target that person. I want that customer to frequent my business. So I'm going to make it worth it. So I'm going to send a promo to that wallet for a free Fitbit or half off of one. Because I feel like if I, as a company, treat that person well and give them a product or a service that they enjoy, that they will start to proselytize on my behalf, and they will go out on social media and they'll talk about me too. And that's great. And it just becomes a more efficient way to like target market in a way that allows the consumer to still be anonymous, which is the part that I'm excited about. Not that, because personally I like being targeted by advertising when they're relevant. It like helps me find the things. But I hate that like once I'm out there, I'm just kind of screwed. So like everyone has all of my information. I would rather them have a wallet address that like if I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm sick of all this, I just make a fresh wallet and stop dealing with the old one. So it is very much about consumerism. We live in a very consumer focused world, and so is kind of that idea, that question, if we can't stop mainstream consumerism, how can we use this technology perhaps just to protect the consumer a little bit more, or give them a little bit bigger piece of the pie that they're entitled to, because they're the ones that are, they're the ones that are driving this ship anyway. They're the only reason any of these companies make any money is because we make it for them. That's kind of the way that I'm thinking about all this Web3 shit.
Yeah, and there is a challenge because you used the example earlier of your grocery store. It would be easier and cheaper and more efficient for not just an incumbent grocery store like Kroger, but also a totally upstart grocery store to look on an easy user interface, probably not the blockchain explorer, but something like the Show platform, a platform made to help people discover others according to similar interests by the tokens they hold. It would be as easy for a competitor, whether they're a grocery store or the operator of a local farmer's market, to do the on-chain research to find Alex is going to a grocery store near him, but it's chain grocery. I have a farmer's market 20 miles away. I am going to give him an incentive to come to this instead. The availability of that kind of data, which is composable, which anybody anywhere can access, and which is more verifiable. Like, we don't have to sit and ask, can we trust it? We know that the computer that put it there is just following a piece of code. We can verify that code anytime, so we can trust the data more and do more with it. It's composable. Anyone can use it. That is going to at once make it easier for incumbents who get on the board, get on the boat to take advantage of that to make their empires bigger. But it's also going to make it a lot easier, and it's going to introduce people to the benefits of, one, better incentives, and two, the tools to build them. Because that, in my mind, is the solution to the money problem, the capital problem, is when companies like Disney give you NFTs for going to their park, but you can't take it out of your wallet, and then another entertainment company that you love just as much gives you a true NFT that you can do anything you want with, people are going to say, wow, this is great. And when it's in a Coinbase smart wallet, yeah, it's Coinbase's, but people are going to start to experience the frictionlessness of it, and then they're going to come to demand the benefit of privacy, of autonomy, because they got used to it. The government rolls out a CBDC, no problem. Everybody's got to use it, and they're going to say, wow, this is great. It's so convenient. It's so cheap. It's so easy. But it really sucks that the government can see everything. I wish there was a cryptocurrency that didn't require anyone's permission to use, that could be sent anywhere around the globe. You see what I'm saying? So, I think Alex, we're both in this same boat that, yeah, it's Web 2.5 at best right now.
At best.
But the road to get to where we're going is to build better models and teach people how to use them.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that this is like a really big cultural, mental, everything shift.
Huge.
Like, it's not something that you can just like drop on someone's head tomorrow and then expect them to re-rack their entire digital life to be fully Web3. The most diehard Web3 advocates that I know are very much Web 2.25, Web 2.5 at best. They are all still on an Android or an Apple powered smartphone using Google every single day of their life, posting on Twitter every day. Like, they are extremely Web 2. And they're just like, they just kind of get it a little bit more. That's like the best you can do right now. I don't know a single person who is like all Web3, exclusively using decentralized applications and services and foregoing and neglecting anything Web 2. It's not possible to exist online without doing all of that stuff unless you make some massive sacrifices that would majorly inconvenience you. And I'm talking like no more email, no more phone calls, no more social media, no more online purchases, right?
Certainly
Like,
no more TikTok.
certainly no more TikTok. Yeah, look at us. We are coming to you live today on an extremely Web 2
Yeah.
focused platform.
Sponsored by Web 2.
Yeah, that has a long-standing track record of absolutely scalping creators on the value that they generate on a platform. Like, we are here generating money for TikTok right now. Evan and I are going to see pennies from this at best. Like,
Yeah.
if we see anything at all, it will be a few cents.
Alex,
So-
for everybody who's trying to get to 10,000 followers so they can monetize, I got a check last week from TikTok for $10. And go look at my metrics and that'll give you an idea of what you can expect, you know.
No, my last check from TikTok was $31.77, and $21 of that came from one single person gifting it to us in a show a couple days ago.
You got a $20 gift, bro? Dang.
You got more.
I did?
Yeah, dude, you got to pay attention.
What was that? Was that those cool gifts that we got that other day with the that was actually I understand the thrill of gifts now because the animations were really cool.
You got to go look because yours was like $50 worth.
So somebody paid TikTok like $100 to send me $50. It just pisses me off. I love that. I'm grateful always when people give us a little cowboy hat or something, but that just pisses me right the hell. Pisses me off, man.
Yep.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
interrupted
So
you.
no, don't worry about it. I mean that's really the rant. You know, like we can sit here all day, and it's important that we figure out, like, you know, why should any of this stuff matter? You know, like, is this even worth paying any attention to? What is not worth paying attention to? You know, whatever it is. And I think the vast majority of the Web3 space right now is really not worth your time, except to learn about it so that you know this is not helpful. This is good stuff to avoid. Here's a way that a scam is happening. Evan, I've gotten 2 DMs in the past maybe couple weeks or so,
Yeah.
from someone who was like, hey, this seems a little bit fishy. Like, I'm down several thousand. What do you think? And it's just like someone sending a Meg impersonator thousands of dollars on a fake investment website. Or the last one was someone lost $7,000 to one of the exact same things that the 28 grand person lost their money to. And it's just like, you know, so that's a lot of crypto. Is that it's a brand new vehicle that people don't really understand, and that means that it's going to be used to steal money from you.
I mean, my God. If you are going to buy or invest in something, like, this is the number one reason you need to be in a community of people. You probably don't have somebody in your everyday life that you're just going to talk about Bitcoin with. And if you do, it's a very small group. This is a great community of folks. I know it's like such a millennial thing to say we're a community, but we really, you know, we hang out together, we spend time regularly. You can join us here on the show. You can join us in the Discord. Alex and I are easy to reach, but really that's the best way to do it, is jump in the Discord and meet other people just like you, just like us, who are learning this stuff. It would cost you nothing But 5 minutes of your time to send a message like that to the general chat of our Discord, what does everybody think about this? Does this look fishy? And I promise you, you will get an answer from more than one person who will give you an opinion on, yeah, this is no good. Don't spend your money on that stuff. Don't learn the hard way. You are absolutely not going to miss out on a life-changing opportunity or whatever they promise you they've got by taking a little time and being a little careful. Man, Alex, I hate that, man.
Yeah, it's and then because I get now that I have a lot more some newer followers, and every single day someone's like, "Did you know there's a fake version of you?"
Yeah,
Yes,
we know.
I
Sorry about it.
unfortunately I know. Unfortunately, there are hundreds. Um,
Um, and the best way to stay in touch with us is like these are our only official profiles. If you want to find us on other social platforms, Alex and I both have links in our bio that will lead you to those social platforms. We will never DM you first. If we don't know you, you got to DM us, and we may not answer you, and we will absolutely never ask you for money unless we're like selling you a premium membership or a Rise Up coffee mug, something that is a tangible product you can touch. And most of the time, you got to like find that through us. We're not going to, sit here and make you pay to get this information.
yeah,
And then you can also find the good links for our community at the riseupmorningshow.com. It's at the link in our bios, but the riseupmorningshow.com. Easy to remember, important to know. Find the newsletter there, find the community there, the Discord community. And then you can access all our other links there too. It's not the only place. We don't have a monopoly on the truth, but if you're trying to learn this stuff, it's a good place to start. And I'm curious to know where you want to go with this, but I did see one or two other questions like, are you guys buying anything right now? And a couple of recurring thoughts on AI from Cookie Muncher
yeah,
and Bogadin that might just be worth addressing.
yeah. So
Oh, and I'm sorry, Alex, can I, while you collect your thoughts, say one thing? Cool Beans, who's in the comments right now, welcome. Cool Beans, if anybody doesn't know, is royalty among us, is the current king on the hill for logadog.xyz, the on-chain hot dog eating contest that is sweeping the globe with a whopping, what is it, 68 hot dogs. For context, I ate 4 hot dogs over the last 3 days, and I'm up to like 12. Okay. I was the guy who was going to win this, let me tell you. But Cool Beans is dedicated to the bit. If you want to participate in a hot dog eating contest on chain made by our good friend Machiste, aka Mike.eth, it's an awesome consumer crypto product. You don't even know it's crypto. And it's fun as hell because, who doesn't love taking pictures eating hot dogs with their friends? Anyway, sorry. I just wanted you to know that that's who Cool Beans is. He's eaten
no, it's
65 hot dogs last month for the culture.
I was just saying I really enjoyed the specific conversation prompt. The last comment was, I don't see how constantly building more avenues for consumption is going to lead us out of consumption. And it's just really good. I wrote that one down. the
Yeah.
and it kind of like when you think about it that way, it kind of puts you into a little bit different perspective. But I think I come back to my same original conclusion that like this, like we may not be currently looking at the tools that are the better way, but what we're looking at is a few tools that take us one step closer to the better way. Like if the ultimate desire is to like venture away from the like raw consumerism and just mass consumption, then perhaps the first thing we have to do is learn to consume a little bit better.
Yeah. Or just have a big hot dog eating contest to make it fun while we
Just
wait.
have a big hot dog eating contest.
You know?
Um,
What a great analogy for the moment we're at. An on-chain hot dog eating contest.
yeah,
You know?
no, I like it. In the same vein, I've been enjoying watching the measured progress on the Base token store. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just really cool stuff. I started to kind of poke around a little bit um, in some of the other things that got posted in the same round uh, that the token store was originally published in. I think that's what they're called, right? The rounds, little like project notifications, and then you get some ETH for it. The base rounds thing. I think that's what it's called. This is just really cool shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's the idea that yes, a brand new person who like looks at Web3 for the first time will probably find some Solana stuff before they find anything else.
Sure.
But like people who want to take a stab at building something, I think are discovering right now that the single best environment to do that in is Base. Um, and I felt a little bit, like with myself because I have been saying for so fucking long that the only thing you need to be successful is to build a fun and engaging and easy to use developer environment. And the second you do that, like you will get builders and users. And so Base is a layer 2 on Ethereum that is built and run and funded by Coinbase, the company. So obviously immediate concern there that, like I was saying earlier, we are trading an old middleman for a new middleman, because this is very much an example of like, don't pay Amazon, pay Coinbase instead.
Right. Yeah.
And I could totally see a world wherein like the first big shift is, not from not having a billionaire in the middle, but having and I hate that I'm about to say this, so I want you all to know that I hear it before I say it. And I apologize in advance because it's such a stupid, nonsensical thing to say, but a better billionaire in the middle. And
is there such a thing?
I tasted a little bit of bile when I said that, but I feel like that's kind of the attitude that a lot of people have, because that's something you see a lot. Like, this guy gets it. That was the Trump phenomenon. Like, this guy gets it. Or, you hear Mark Cuban defined as the blue collar billionaire. It's like, this guy gets it. And it's like, okay, it's all the same shit, wearing a different shirt.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, exactly.
Nobody, we all know that no one gets to billionaire status unless they're pretty cool with a lot of people eating glass for them to get to billionaire status. You got to be cool with that. So then it's sort of like the question, you're like, well, how many people's heads do you want to step on to get to the point where you can make life better for everyone? And then are you actually going to do anything like that? And that's definitely the way that like mass adopted as it stands now, Web3 is, like I said, you're trading one.
It's a lot of trust me, bro.
It's a ton of that. And we're very much still in a purely Web 2 era, but this time we get some crypto, and it's a little baby step.
Yeah, and it will introduce people to the benefits for sure.
I think it's okay only in the sense that we all are aware that is what it is.
Yeah,
and that people aren't being like misled. And that's kind of like at least my impetus for being here in like a creator position, is trying to make sure that people realize like, hey, this is still Web 2. This is super Web 2. We just adopted a different company that happens to give you like one or two different benefits that the last guy didn't give you. And that's where we're going to be right now. But like Evan said, hopefully this will give everyone just enough of a taste of the fact that like, there is a different way to do it. Not even necessarily to say that this is better, but it's just different. And the second people, I mean, you hear what do the people say? Like, oh, my eyes are open now to whatever. The second that happens, you realize like, oh my God, it's like, if anyone's read, Red Rising, if you haven't, great series. Definitely recommend it. But the moment in the very beginning, no spoilers at all, but the moment in the very beginning of the book when Darrow first realizes where he lives, that's kind of the thing. It's like all of a sudden things that you never even entertained as a possibility are in your head. That's kind of, I would not consider any billionaire as a good billionaire.
I was just typing, was hood a typo? Because that's a much more interesting question. Would you consider Warren Buffett a hood millionaire? And my immediate answer is, for a guy who eats McDonald's cheeseburgers and drives, whatever, and drinks Coke, probably not very hood. But maybe the hood was in him after all. I don't know. He got that dog in me.
Yeah, no, I will be one of the first to say that there are no good billionaires. Like there's not one who's, and let's see, maybe I've only met one. I met Mark Cuban. I think he's the only one. And you hear them talk and you think like, it's kind of like parents, right? Like the threshold for like internet fame after being like a really good something is so low. someone made the video about this the other day. It was like the threshold for like being a really good parent now is just like spending some time with your kids. And it's like, okay, isn't that like the bare minimum?
Yeah.
Billionaires, it's like the same thing. A billionaire comes out, he's like, I think that I should pay some taxes, and everyone's like, oh my god, what a what a what a good altruistic billionaire. And it's just like, ugh, yikes.
Yeah, I think I don't know. You know how I feel about it. I don't want to get too into the weeds on our moral positions if it's okay with you, but I would tend to think that,
Yeah,
like,
that's fine.
like people are good and bad in that nothing is either good or bad, yet thinking makes it so. But the incentives that you must buy into, the things you must do, like you said a second ago, to become a billionaire,
Yeah,
you don't just wake up and work your way to it. You don't just try real hard and believe in yourself. You, at some level, directly or indirectly, um, are responsible for some things that most people would agree are atrocious. Um, and so it is not a question of, are you a bad person? You might be. I bet I personally would probably enjoy hanging out with Elon or Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos because I like everybody. But the incentives
true.
are bad, you
He
know?
does like everyone to a fault.
That's because I personally see it as a question of incentives. I could sit there with a guy who killed someone and understand that he probably did it because his children were desperate for food, or he had been misled, or made angry, or whatever. I don't think people are bad. I think incentives are bad. So
Yeah, and I
take me
mean,
away from this topic before I proselytize on it, because I will.
yeah, no, 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 it's fine. I mean, it's the way the world works. You know, I get it, and I would completely agree with what Evan said. There are probably good people who have found them. There's a lot more billionaires than people think there are, and I'm sure that some of them will. I'm sure some of them are good people that do good
Yes,
things. I mean,
probably nice.
look, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is a good example of an organization that's done a lot of good stuff, and yet Microsoft is as big as it is because they're pretty cool with a lot of people having less than they probably should to get them to that status. I get it, but like Evan said, we're getting a little bit farther into the weeds. I mean, I can look up everyone. I just spoiler alert, like whenever someone tells me like, no, trust me, dude, like this billionaire is better. No, and it's not an indictment of their personal character. It's just an indictment of like the
The
societal and
system.
socioeconomic structure that has to exist for someone to accumulate that much wealth.
Yeah,
It's just
it
not
is a
good.
zero-sum game, and it is based on a myth. Scarcity is a myth. The resources are finite, but there is enough for everyone to have their basic needs met, and then much more. Abundance, truly, in terms of food, water, shelter, camaraderie, community. But the myth of scarcity, perpetuated by the tool of money, forces us to see the world in a term of scarcity. It is not that way. And
Mhm.
people can be kind and also be billionaires, but to use that system as the means by which we distribute resources necessitates that the existence of Mark Cuban means hungry people, hurt people, extorted people.
Yep.
And even Mark Cuban would probably say, if I could think of a better way, we would do it, but is now incentivized to keep things the way they are. Same for Bill and Melinda Gates. They're trying to make it better by giving away all their money, but they're mostly incentivized to keep doing this thing to
Yeah.
maintain their kind of power.
Yeah. I
Power's,
mean,
you know,
Mark Cuban's a good
powerful.
example because cost plus is undoubtedly a good
Totally.
thing. I don't think no one could look at cost plus and tell me that like this is not a service that should absolutely exist. And it probably is a service that required a billionaire to put it into practice. And I'm totally like game to have the conversation of like the sacrifice that must be made to get yourself to a position where you can do something that is like net better than whatever you took to get there. But you have to have that conversation. You have to at least admit that that happened.
Yeah, the fact that you live in a world where people have to pay for medicine is like further down the pole. And I would say, like, yes, in a world where people have to pay for medicine, it's great that Mark Cuban did that. But we don't have to pay for medicine. It's arbitrary that we choose to make people do that. It is not the only way things could be. Therefore, it's like a fugazi. I've been saying that word a lot lately, fugazi. I don't know
Yeah,
how it came into my vocabulary again, but it's like wild. I know you said that the other day. You were like, "Man, I've been saying everything is wild," and I was like, "Yeah, that's wild, man." But now it's
it is wild.
fugazi.
It's funny how that happens. I get the same thing. I have what's my newest
I laughed so
you know
hard at "Amen, brother" on Jordan's little card. What does your dad always say? Amen, brother.
Just it happens. I say it a lot. I say it a lot. Sometimes it's just the only response.
What do you think about? I asked you a second ago. Somebody wanted to know what we're buying, and somebody wanted to know about AI. I feel like,
Huh.
since we're talking kind of philosophically, conceptually, I would love to hear your thoughts on, is AI Web3, and are the AI products and people we're seeing in and beyond crypto now? Is that where AI is going? Are we like here yet? Where do you think it's going in the future? And generally speaking, what are your thoughts on it?
What are my thoughts on
Yes, when
AI?
you think about all that is artificial intelligence. Just one
Uh,
sentence, please.
the thing that the first thing that I think about, as long as we're like head in the clouds, is still a little bit here.
Yeah.
I always like try to transport myself a little bit back in time and try to imagine pitching the internet as a concept to somebody in like 14th century, uh, you know,
Yeah.
a village. And imagine going back and trying to explain to that person a concept of the internet.
Oh my
Um,
God, yeah.
right? Like in a world where electricity was not yet a thing. And that's kind of where I feel okay. And so then imagine doing the same thing, explaining the internet to someone 100 years ago, where now at least a few more of the pieces to the puzzle have been like introduced. Um, and so like you could like almost you could get a little bit closer to being like, well, you know how this powers that, or like this is that thing. I feel like with AI, we are there where we're like 100 years ago learning about the internet,
Yeah.
because it always gives me just this little, because like you see AI and represented in like sci-fi movies and stuff, and then I come into like current days and like what's the most widespread use of AI in the consumer side that like we all see, and it's like write my college essay for me, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this is this is the equivalent of sending someone a cat picture and being amazed at the power.
And how fast it is when it takes 5 minutes.
Yeah, so the only thing I'm thinking is like, can you even fucking fathom where this shit's gonna be in 10 years?
No,
Because
dude.
that,
Have you seen that card Plod that records your meetings and uses GPT? It's a
yeah,
GPT product to
yeah,
transcribe them, and you can translate them and it sends it to you. So it's like one step better than what you would do if you were just using GPT. It's a product that makes it faster, better. And I was like, "Oh my God." And it made me have that thought that we are so much farther than we've ever been, but like we're not even there yet.
yeah, pretty much. Sorry. Um, just for fun, we are not really stock people, but I'm gonna type in the handle of somebody who would be worth giving a follow if you wanted to learn more about like which AI stocks are doing well. Although I would say, I guess uh, the easy answer, even though it's a little bit terrifying as a company to invest in, and I probably wouldn't. I don't know how I feel about Nvidia like buying right now,
Oh
but
yeah, well they just did a stock split, so it's probably a good time for somebody who has never bought to,
that is the AI company right now, because they make the number one product for like for using it,
yeah, for
using the
hardware.
stuff. But here, just for fun, this is the handle of a good friend of ours who I would definitely recommend over us to learn about stock stuff.
Yeah, and I second it. I absolutely love Ken. He's great. He won't try to sell you anything. He's helpful, concise. I agree. Yeah, oh my gosh. Uh I had a conversation about the XRP white paper and I understood every point I made. New feeling. What a great achievement. I love that.
That's cool.
Tori, what does Machiste say that I need? The morning bird chirps from Evan is putting me in a great mood. I'm so glad. Um, Alex, I was thinking about using, what do you think about this? The metal bot over on Farcaster to get us set up with a Rise Up token, a community token. And I think it'd be really cool to let people get it at the bot if they want it. I don't know, just a fun meme coin that we can use to continue building touch points with our folks. That
Mhm.
I'm so pissed off about all the creators breaking the law and telling a terrible story. I really am just ready to do a totally legal community token that we don't make any financial promises about, that people can acquire by buying, but that we can also airdrop to everybody who's got POAPs, that we can also send to anybody who bought a coffee mug, to anybody who's a member of the Discord, just to start building or continue building um, relationships with our people on chain. I think we've got a lot
I
of touch points, and we would be served by a fungible token. And it's so easy to create one for free in a click. What do you think?
I'm genuinely just really opposed to it.
Really?
Yeah,
Tell me more, because I'd like to know.
because I know how internet culture works, especially on this as a platform, and I know that someone is going to walk in after the entire explanation happens, who is seeing it for the first time, and then buy too much of it and then lose money on it. And that this is the point that I made on Twitter. I was talking to Lucas yesterday, and it's just about like I just these things only Evan, you've been in the telegrams, right? Like we've been in the specific community's telegram.
Yeah.
People don't get the memo. They aren't all read in. They think it's something else because they have no context to think anything different about this particular token that may have been created. Because my point was, you could absolutely make a community-led meme legally, but that doesn't mean that you can make one ethically. And if it's behind, like, I would never put my face on it. If it's behind me as a person, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that somebody who follows me because they got good information or they trusted me to tell them something helpful or they learned something or whatever, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that one of those people would get hurt because of that thing's existence. And I'm not, no thanks. I would way rather just continue to use POAP for it. Um, I just don't want it to be buyable. The second it becomes buyable, someone makes a stupid decision and gets hurt.
I don't necessarily disagree, but I wonder how we can make. Oh my God, there's a spider who just. That was the wildest thing. I just watched a spider parachute through the air slowly towards my phone as if he was going to try and get on camera, and he landed just like right. Well, now he's crawled on. I thought for sure he was trying to rug the show. He was looking for his moment in the spotlight. I don't entirely disagree. I agree with you on principle, but I also think there's a lot of stuff we can do to mitigate that, like distributing it to members of the community and not making it something people can just go buy, at least at the start. And I'm curious if you think the reason I want to do it is because of the other upside potential. And I wonder if you have considered all the upside of, or, I'm not saying that you haven't, because obviously you hang out here every day with me. And I know you more than anybody else think about what tokens can do for people. But I'm curious if there's a way we can mitigate that harm and then give people who are members in our community the same way we give them language like Rise Up and a Discord forum to ask questions. I believe that there may be that giving them a fungible token that is not necessarily, it doesn't have to be liquid, but it should be fungible. Um, that the existence of the token, like the existence of the word, will give them a forum to help onboard people to crypto, to the show, to make meaning with each other in the community. The existence of tools will lead to emergent uses of the tools. When the film camera was invented, this is my favorite example for people watching. It was years, literally decades, before anybody thought to move the camera so close to someone's face that we could see their eyes when they blinked. It was years before they thought to film me and then Alex during a dialogue scene, to create a moving shot with the camera, to develop the medium of cinematography. But it was the invention of the camera, the tool, film, that allowed them to start experimenting and playing. Are you saying that you just feel like there are enough tools and that it's still too dangerous a tool to bring into our personal laboratory? Because I feel like there are steps we could take to mitigate it that would make it beneficial for the community, and I'm interested in what they think too.
I'm just saying that I have yet to be convinced, and one thing remains true. Yes, you could do one that's legal, and you could do one that is like so disgustingly over disclosed the risks of, and then one person walks in right after the disclaimer finishes and just sees that some people that they really like or they've gotten a good feeling for are behind this thing. They're like, well, this one's not going to rug. This one's safe. And I'm going to go into this. And like, yes, some people will make money from it. That money has to come from somewhere. And for every person who made money, someone lost it because it just switched hands. And right now is not a good time to do this.
Why
We're
do you
not,
think it has to be a money token?
because it's
Because you say
fungible.
that, but everyone in the comments says that too. I can tell that everybody thinks it's a money token, and I know that people are not on the same frame of mind as I am about that. But I want to be clear: it doesn't have to be a money token. It may become one someday if we want it to be, but I don't think we have to provide any liquidity for this token.
It doesn't matter because you don't create the liquidity, somebody else does, and then it's still a thing that has your name and face on it, and that's the reason that it has any theoretical value, because every single person watching this show right now could go and launch a token in the exact same way, and unless they also have a platform that has lots of followers, like, dude, fucking crypto bastard posted a goddamn video that was like, oh, what's step one to doing this? Get a community and an audience. And I'm like, you're saying the quiet part out loud, motherfucker. You're literally sitting here like, and him I have no qualms with getting upset with, because like he was a reach out and like a someone who was told helpfully like, hey, this isn't really a super cool thing that you're doing, and he just got really defensive and doubled down on it. So unequivocally fuck that guy. And it was the exact same thing. It was the whole. I mean, go watch the videos posted on his profile. It's just like, you got to get followers, because that's how the token
Yeah,
grows. And it's like, yeah, you know why? Because those people like you
they
and they
trust you.
trust you and they follow you and they think you're not going to scam because your reputation is tied to this thing. So this is a safe buy for me. I will not put my face on something like that. I don't care if I'm not the one supplying the liquidity. No one can tell me yet that this is not a thing that would get traded on my name and reputation and would just hurt someone else. I'm so livid about this being a trend, because it's literally like, hey, you've spent years building an audience to teach them about the values of
Yeah,
Web3, and now what did you do that for?
right.
Just to grift on them with some pile of shit that you rammed out of pumped out fun for $2 in 5 minutes? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I agree with you. But what's the difference between us? Here's the thing. My whole mission is to tell a better story. And I just feel like I'm sitting back. We've talked to these people. We've talked to their communities. We talked to everybody here on the Rise Up Morning Show about the perils and pitfalls of creator tokens, the illegalities of them, the risks of them. But we also have talked about the potential for tokens to be a transformative new medium to help everyday people own the things that matter to them. And I am interested in, because I am convicted in this idea, modeling one way to tell a better story, because I think it exists. And I would pose the question to you, for example, I'm willing to concede that it may be the wrong time, but I also think I'm not convinced on that. And I'm curious to know, like, what would the difference be at this point in time between doing a token tied to your reputation that could become liquid from somebody, and the difference between doing like a, I don't know, what if there was a survivor token? Like kind of like Crypto the Game did. When the creator of Metalbot created a yellow token for the yellow tribe and a blue token and a red token, there was really no reputation to trade on. Crypto the Game was super niche. We all just had tokens, and it was like cute and cool and fun. But I appreciated that he did that, not just because it gave people the potential opportunity to speculate, but because it gave me another touchstone of my experience. I'm one of the only people in the world who has yellow tokens now. They're not worth anything. Nobody has provided liquidity for them. Maybe someday they will, but I understand that the money of crypto and the number go up of crypto is such a small part of what this is going to be, and the value we have the opportunity to create for people beyond that. I mean, we talk about this all the time with Taylor Swift as an example, or Conor McGregor when we were doing UFE. Alex, you and I are going places because people know and like and trust us. Everyone in our community is going somewhere because they're learning about this stuff right now. And it doesn't have to be a Sage coin, but I feel like there's a way to give them, and maybe POAPs are it. Maybe we just keep doing POAPs. I just feel like that's less accessible than something you could connect your wallet to a bot on Warpcast in our channel where we control it and just post about us and earn 100 tokens that don't have any monetary value. And maybe people in the community get them first and they don't do anything. Seed Club has done that with Enjoy, and it has become sort of speculative. People are doing tipping with it. There is money behind it. But I don't see people rampantly speculating on it the way they're speculating on a pumped up fund token. Also, really quick disclaimer for people who are requesting to come up. If we don't know you, it's not personal. Savage Studios, AJ, I'm so glad you're here. But, do you know them?
Yes, Savage Studios, we do know.
I'm so sorry, Savage Studios. I'm going to bring them up in a second, but please give us your thought. If you are somebody who wants to come up, we would love to have you. But if I don't recognize you, like I say, it's not personal. We just want to get to know you to protect our audience in case somebody's going to say a slur. Do you know AJ Arham, Alex?
No.
Okay. Then I'm going to bring Savage up. I'm sorry, I rugged your thought. What do you think?
I just want to make it abundantly clear that I do not underestimate the potential good that a helpful community token whatever could do. Like, I like tokens for that very specific thing. I just know beyond a shadow of a doubt that right now with this trend, someone just pitched me one in a DM the other day that was like the anti-influencer meme. It was like the anti-whatever meme. And I'm like, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. And they're still shilling it to their audience. And they're still grifting the exact same way that they were before. And it's like, it's just a different flavor of the exact same pie. And it just...
Then how do you get there? Is my question. How do we get there?
This trend has to die and someone has to go to jail.
So somebody dies and someone goes to jail, but what's to stop? I mean, are we waiting for helpful regulation? Is that what you're saying? Like we need...
Let me address a couple of these. I can text Savage. He's one of this is a Twitter Web3 gaming individual.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, then, really thank you for your patience, Savage. I'm so terribly sorry to have kept you waiting for so long.
So, okay, here's a couple questions.
Yeah, let's hit them. Thank you for being patient.
Someone mentioned about, like making it a nonprofit thing. Like, listen, I am number one in the blockchain and nonprofit mission. I literally work for a company that is doing, like nonprofit contributions via crypto in a better way than is currently being done by the big companies that do that. I work there. That's what I do for a living. I'm totally down with that. I would honestly tell you, even with that if your ultimate goal is to donate to like pet rescue, just find a pet rescue and donate to them. We don't need to like layer a meme coin in between the two things. I totally get the idea that like we don't need to fund something with liquidity. However, I know because I am online chronically and I'm watching in real time all of these influencer tokens do the thing that they're doing. I know that it has a very high likelihood that somebody puts liquidity up because they know that they can capitalize on my name and brand to get into this thing and then monetize it. And then make other people feel like, oh, well, I also want to get into this thing early. And all of a sudden there's a money transfer. And now people who didn't have it, and the people who had it and maybe could not afford to lose it no longer have it anymore because they think that they're either one, supporting me, or two, just participating in something that definitely won't scam because I wouldn't scam anyone. And I'm not okay with that. I think that POAP is hella accessible, and I would way rather participate in something like that than I would in any like before I ever made a token. Plus, Evan, we've run token communities before. We know exactly how they go. You can do everything right and legally and compliant, comply with whatever regulations you can find that you can do, and you can still people can still get hurt, and that's just a thing. This is the billionaire talk. You just have to be cool with that. It's like, yes, maybe there's a net good. Maybe 25 more people win than lose, which is not theoretically possible, but bear with me. But in that same conversation, somebody lost, and maybe that person who lost is one of your like oldest, most loyal followers who really can't afford to do any of this stuff, but was just like, yes, I'm balls to the wall on this now because this person who I like and trust is behind it, and oh, look at that, I got hosed because someone pulled liquidity out, or whatever it is. It's just not worth. It's not worth it. The potential upside is not worth the guaranteed downside. And especially in a world where a tool exists where we could achieve the same kind of end goal of like empowering this group of audience members with something that is tokenized, use POAP for it. It's really, if you can get a token, if you could connect your wallet to something and buy a fungible token, you can sign up to POAP and get a free NFT.
As much as I love POAPs, I just don't think they have the same velocity that an ERC20 does. I think ERC20 tokens have the most velocity of any cryptocurrency token.
Why do we need so much velocity? Why do we need so much velocity?
Because it's like language. If you want to be influential in the medium of language, if you want to make meaning with many people, if you want to change the world, then it helps you to know a lot of words. It helps you to have a strong, clear voice. It helps you to have a microphone. It helps you to have a stage. It helps you to stand on a mountain when other people are in the valley. There are many things you can do to increase the velocity of your ability to make meaning with other people, because that accelerates. I'm not saying fast is always best, but I am saying the whole reason I'm here in this space is because I am concerned about tomorrow. I'm concerned about making tomorrow better than today, about helping other people to leave behind a system where there are winners only when there are losers, and about building better systems, modeling what it might look like one way to tell a better story with the kind of tools we have. And I am pretty convinced that I agree with everything you said. I feel pretty strongly that, I'll say we, but I'll speak for myself too, that I see this in a way that not a lot of people see this, and that they're going to need help seeing it beyond what my words can say. They're going to need to see a movie with a close-up. They're going to need to see a film where the camera moves. And I'm pretty convinced that that movie can be produced with the tools we have right now. Tokens are the medium. And if not now, when? If not us, who? I hear you when you say there's maybe too much risk. So I'm not going to push it more. And don't worry, you're not going to wake up one morning and find that we've got a Rise Up token. But it's something I'd like to keep paying attention to and talking about, because I remain unconvinced that it couldn't be a zero-sum game. I think it could be a net positive, not just a net positive game, but a nobody has to lose game.
I mean, here's the only way. Here's the only way right now that I could see it not being a problem. You use something soulbound-esque that is used to just mark a bunch of wallets as participants and members of this community.
Sure.
And then other groups can see all of those wallets and can send them stuff, because this is a good, helpful group of people to give stuff to, and you want these people on your side because they're all hyper valuable and engaged and well-minded individuals. But I'm comfortable saying this, even though I say all the time, like, you have to be willing to change your mind when presented with new information. Right now, there is no way to launch a fungible token and not hurt someone. There is no way to do it. And I apologize. I am not prepared to change my mind on that, because there are just dozens of examples of people being regularly look. Can you guys even fathom how many people are going to get completely screwed on Sage? Like, can you even begin to fathom how many people are going to get absolutely hosed? You know how much lead time that is? You think there's even the slightest chance that that dude is not sending the contract address to a small group of people, or, preparing to load himself up, or like making sure that the right people know about it ahead of time? because that's exactly what's going to happen. Like anytime you build this much of a hype around something, that's exactly what it is. It's like, oh, we can't wait. The drop's going to be crazy. People are going to make money on that. Guaranteed. You know who? The ones who know it already and the ones who get there early. They get there early and they buy. That's why everyone is so rabid trying to do it, because they just want to make money. That's the narrative that exists around like personally launched fungible tokens right now, is like, I'm going to do something and the original like early buyers are going to win and everyone else is going to at best break even or at best only lose a little bit.
Yeah, and somebody said everyone knows, but your point was right. Not everyone knows.
No, they don't all know, John. You might know, but they don't all know. I've lurked in the Telegram groups, and these are literally like parents and people who are like spending their grocery money on this because, oh, this influencer definitely won't rug. This is a sure thing. I love this person. That's it. That's what it is.
This is different. Yeah.
And I've seen these people carry this out to fruition. It's the same kind of shit where these like people, the big influencers who like shill something over and over and over again, like somebody made money on that. Those people, their voices get amplified, and anyone who got hurt, you get yelled at as being a fudder, and then they kick you out of the group, and then they make fun of you in public for being a hater because everyone else is. The solution is just to stop adding tokens to the mix. The solution is to like finally have a goddamn influencer who doesn't need to launch a meme. Influencers who I never thought would launch memes are doing it, and that's just like really unfortunate.
I agree. I think regulation is part of it. I think it's really, I think we absolutely need in this moment for somebody to, that's one of those laws that I agree with, Alex. We often say like in the crypto space, like, oh, the law, you know, we treat it as if like the law is somehow unjust. And sometimes, like, let's be honest, it's a real pain in my ass that I have to go to a bunch of different exchanges and use a VPN to buy a crypto that I have thoroughly researched and decided is fine for me. But I don't think it's a bad law that some of these tokens, which are securities, which are launched by influencers who have an outsized ability to manipulate the market, are illegal. I think that's a good law. Alex does. We think that's a good law. Yeah. And right now, they are not enforcing those laws well enough, such that all these people are breaking them again and again and again. And many of them don't know or don't care, like you always say, Alex. At best, they don't know. At worst, they don't care. Both should terrify you. So I think that's what we're going to need. I agree with you. I think we're going to need somebody, where does it stop, to experience a lawsuit, a scary one, probably. And then maybe things will change. Maybe more attention will be paid. We'll get better regulation. But I also think the other antidote, people need to experience a better way. And maybe it can't happen until we get some of this stuff out of the way first and people get wrecked on it first. Maybe we have to have a few car crashes before we have the first highway. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just we can stop beating the dead horse here, but I don't disagree that something good can be done. Like, I wouldn't be here in this industry if I thought there was like no hope that it was ever going to be helpful. You know, like that would be silly. Unless I was exclusively here as the doomsayer.
Yeah.
But that's not you know, that's not how I'm trying to be. And it's like you said, there are some helpful laws that exist and they're not being enforced. So like in a world where influencers are like publicly launching these things on Twitter and it'd be like really easy to find and then go after somebody for doing this, those are not the people that the SEC is like looking at, and the CFTC is not doing anything about it. It would be so easy to do this, and it's just like, no, let's send another Wells notice to Uniswap. It's just like, what the fuck is the point of your agency? Yeah,
it's extremely unhelpful.
You could actually protect
they spent a fraction of that money on regulating this crap.
Yeah, you could actually protect an investor, but that's not what their mission is. Their mission is to make themselves wealthy. It's not to protect investors. So, because there's easy ways that you could protect investors. It's not that hard. That was my point. Yesterday, someone was like telling me about like, oh, I didn't realize that was even illegal. I'm like, yeah, because you didn't care to look. And that's a problem. Like, this is not hard. It didn't take me 17 years and a law degree to figure out that this was illegal. It took me 20 minutes and an internet connection and just the basis of giving a shit to figure it out. It's not hard. If you launch a meme and you do it like this, it's because you either don't care or you don't know, and both of them are problematic.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. That's a good idea for a video prompt. Is like, hey, if you want to protect people right now, regulators, here's what you could do. And if somebody was watching and wanted like my favorite summary right now that's available, a TLDR of like the regulations that are ongoing in crypto. I recommend Laura Shin's podcast Unchained. She has an episode with Jake Chervinsky, who's the chief legal officer for Variant. And he just goes bap through the Coinbase lawsuit, the Uniswap one, the Consensus lawsuit, the Tornado Cash lawsuit, and kind of hits all of them, why they matter, what's happening now. And it's a couple weeks old, so honestly, it's even already just a little outdated, but it's a great catch up, especially for anybody who's like, okay, but what's actually happening? What's legal and what's not? Why does it matter? I never think talking to lawyers is going to be something fun, but every time we get a lawyer in conversation, it's riveting and fascinating and so helpful. So check that out. Also, Joey, I'm so sorry, but same thing, man. I saw you requested once or twice. If we know each other, I apologize. It's not ringing a bell for me. Do you know Joey Page there? It's not that I don't want to have you up. I love how you're participating in the conversation. Let's keep talking a little bit and then get to know each other better before we bring you up. We can't trust. We got to verify, man. You understand?
If we would love to have anyone and everyone up, all you got to do is just reach out to us and we'll just talk offline and figure it out and then bring you up.
Yeah, totally. We're here Monday through Thursday. We love having guests on. Everybody's got a different perspective on this thing. It's our favorite thing. And if you have like a question or want to contribute something, join us in the Discord because then you can, type whatever you want. It's a lot easier there. It's at theriseupmorningshow.com or tap our faces and find the links in our profile. You get it that way.
And just for fun, we met Ken through TikTok, but have since met him in person and hung out, and he and I exchange movie recommendations on a regular basis, and I consider him a friend. He's a good dude.
He bought me €1.
Yes, we've used POAP for years. We can. We should kick those back up. We should do another
POAP.
We haven't done one in probably a couple months now, but we've used POAP for years. And I just hung out with some POAP people in Austin and Consensus. Had no clue they work with American Express and that they have like an enterprise premium solution and they have all sorts of stuff going on. So I'm hopefully going to be working with POAP in a bit bigger way on the nonprofit side to do like donation marketing and stuff.
That would be fantastic. I think that is one of the best use cases. For years, I've been saying, every nonprofit needs to be integrating blockchain, and POAP is such a great solution. I love POAP. I really do.
Me too. It's one of the best ways that NFTs are being used at this point, out of all of it.
Alex, could I ask you to enjoy the bird song for a minute while I excuse myself to use the restroom?
Yeah, go for it.
And just hang on to the stream, okay? Pretend I'm off doing something glorious to fight for the future of our space and all the many who've yet to join us.
Yeah, no worries. Here's the deal. Would like to talk offline. Let me know how. So there's a bunch of different ways. There's really no wrong way to do it. It kind of depends like which medium works best for you. But for anyone who wants to get a hold of us, both of us have links in our bios that have tons of different contact options. Mine, for example, you can email me. You can reach out to me here. The one I don't recommend is DMing me on TikTok. Currently, my inbox. So for those who don't know, when you get a DM on TikTok from someone who you do not follow, it does not go to your inbox. It goes to a filter. And then you have to go through that filter. And I get dozens every day that are all just like scam bots, like sending me stickers. And then I get a bunch of people who are like asking me legitimate questions and they all just get lost. So like right now I have 412 unread filtered DMs that I just saw. So if you would like to, and I'm trying to like go through them, but it's honestly really annoying. So reach out to me. The best way on TikTok is to leave a comment on a video. Those I see, most of them. The real best way is to send an email. So if you would like to get a hold of me with anything more substantial or something that you want to make sure you get a response for, just send me an email. There's a button on on my beacons page. DMs on other platforms are easy too, like Discord. So you can join our Discord. There's a free Rise Up Morning Show Discord. Links in the bio. Also at the riseupmorningshow.com. There's a link there. You can join there and find us. Those are easier. I would say just don't DM me on TikTok because it's going to get lost in the void. And despite my best efforts, there are currently, I was just saying, I have 412 unread, like filtered DMs on TikTok. And I'm sure there's good stuff in there. It's just like the worst way to get a hold of me. TikTok is not set up to be like a messaging platform at all. It's really hard.
Also, Alex, I wanted to add, I think you were given the pitches. I'm a little slow. I'm here in Michigan with my grandparents, but my top priority is to figure out better infrastructure for the live classes we want to start soon. Alex and I are going to get back on our horse of doing some more long form tutorials on YouTube. But we'll have, the Discord is great, but we're going to have live classes where you can come hang out. We'll have opportunities for people who need, like, if you just want to do a one-on-one kind of thing and hang out and have us walk you through we had an inquiry in Discord the other day. Somebody was asking about burning LP tokens. Like we love to do that stuff. You could hire us as consultants to launch your project, but our whole goal is to scale the quality and the amount of just good educational content. The more people we can touch, all of us together, our hope is that everyone in that room, that Discord room, will continue to learn and grow and just keep doing cool things and touch more people, because we're here, we only have so much time, we're here a lot of it doing this, bringing people in, so we want your help with that, and we're working on scaling, so bear with me. I hope to have it up soon. We rise up together. That's right, Thomas, you know it, man. That's the mantra. That's why it's the Rise Up Morning Show, because everyday people like us will learn to leverage this technology to rise up together. That's exactly right.
Amen, brother.
Amen, brother. Oh my gosh. I just love that. I absolutely love that.
Evan, as we wind down and walk out, we have a request to get a little sneak peek at the oasis you're sitting in.
Oh, the Oasis. Yeah, let me take you on a quick tour here. So this is Grammy and Gramps' house in Midland, Michigan. And here's the back of the house. It's not that glamorous, but their yard and garden, it's like kind of like a fairy tale. So you've got this gazebo that I'm in that's got these beautiful string lights. We've got all these plants and beds around, and we've got all these fun little crafts that Grammy and Gramps, who are super creative people, have just made with their time. Leaf prints on rocks, shovels turned into weird grips. I'm pretty sure Gramps cast a tire in cement to make this base for a fountain. They made these cool stone planters right here. Just a beautiful place to see the morning, to hang out with nature. There's chipmunks everywhere, squirrels, rabbits. There's a big creek back here. And then there's another sweet little porch where you can kind of sit in the evening and watch stuff. It's just it's a great place. I'd walk you around the whole yard, but my phone is going to rug me if I go too far from the Wi-Fi. So it's one of my favorite places to be. And I'm here for just a week because Grammy and Gramps, they both have had some health problems recently. And I just wanted to get out here to put my eyes on them. And I've spent the last several days kind of working on the yard, putting stuff in the ground, helping them out. I'm 33 years old, and I have two of my grandparents who, for the most part, helped raise me, just like my parents did. And people ask about, like, what's your biggest bag, what's your biggest investment? I was a trust fund kid in the sense that I got a great family, 1,000x investment for sure. And I don't know, Gramps should be back from dialysis anytime. And if he walks out in the yard before we get off the stream, I'll let you say hi to him, because he's a legend in his own time for sure. But that's where we are today, and all the birds are joining too. It says we've got 76 viewers, but if you count the birds, I think we're in the hundreds.
I can hear them.
Yeah, they're talking, man. So what's your sort of final thoughts, good jokes, words of wisdom, last words. I'm asking you, and I'm asking you in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking about. And thank you, John. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
No, definitely. Today was a birds. You mean drones? That is my favorite conspiracy theory, bar none.
Yeah, I think that rabbit hole goes deep, and I just haven't made the time to go down it yet. But I love the narrative. I love the memes.
The memes are great. I don't know. I think I ranted and rambled enough for one day. We go live Monday through Thursday at 8 a.m. Eastern. Don't let Evan's gun jump from today fool you. I woke up at 7:20 and there was a text from Evan being like, "Well, I don't see you," and I'm like, "Wait, what? Where are you supposed to see me?" And I was like, "Oh, he's in Michigan, in a different time zone." Yeah, it's normally Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, for 90 to 120 minutes.
Yep. And Joey, we'd love to have a conversation about regulation, man. We like Alex said a minute ago, the best way to get us offline is to jump in the Discord. Let's get to know each other, and make it a valuable conversation for everybody. We would love to have you. We usually have panels on Tuesday with several of our friends, Mac, Will. We've had Casey Craig. We've had Crypto Glenn on. And it sounds like Nathan, DeFi Daddy, was here last week, which I just love. I think he's great. And always want to do what we can. We've had our CPA. Look at this. We have our dogs on, Chihuahua City, baby. How you doing, Phoebe?
She's like, "This is not what I wanted."
Yeah, that's exactly what Lucy said, too. She's like, "I'll be on the show if I can sleep."
Although, I will say that Pumpkin, as a living creature, is really good at letting you know if she doesn't want to be picked up. She'll sit there until the second she's done. She'll be like, "All right, bitch, put me down."
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Joey. She'll know be Joey. We totally know each other. I am sorry. Honestly, I would have let you up if you had said that. I'm so sorry. It's hard sometimes across platforms to put names and faces. I really appreciate everything you've contributed to the community, and definitely thank you for your patience. You're welcome on the show anytime. Going forward, I will recognize you. My final thought would be, if you hit the family lottery like me, go check on your bags, hug your people, and if you haven't, then you're in a great place because, community is the chosen family kind of thing. This is a great way to invest without spending any money, is to spend time and attention getting to know some people in a space where you can learn a lot and have a lot of fun too. That's what I think. So, you ready to ride our horses into the sunset?
I think so.
Okay.
Yep. Christina just left for her morning walk, which means that all of these dogs are going to stand right there at the window and squeak until she gets home.
Oh my gosh! Tell Christina I say hi, and I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to join before I fly to Michigan, and then I'll be home in the studio. So we'll get back to sort of business as usual, but we'll be here 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 8 a.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. UTC tomorrow. Thank you for joining us on the Rise Up Morning Show. Bring your questions. Stay safe out there, and my friends, until next time, rise up.